With the right CPU, you can turn any game from familiar to phenomenal. Unleash the potential in all your gaming with Intel 10th Gen processors. With its optimal balance of threads, cores, and frequency to deliver elite real-world performance, only Intel can bring Marvel's Avengers to life with in-game PC optimizations. Supercharge your Marvel's Avengers experience with Intel Core i5, i7, and i9 processors.
Back in Sweden, for the second time in Malmö, the third DreamHack Masters kicked off in late August. Everybody wanted to test their strength in this world-class competition.
In 2017 I was in a really weird state of mind when it comes to CS, but yeah, in general, the G2 super team had a lot of pressure on them.
Going undefeated through the group stage, G2 gained confidence. Now, the Brazilian powerhouse SK Gaming waited in the playoffs.
They were like the best team in the world, literally at this time, and I remember that we should have lost that game.
Very good now. Apex has been playing like an absolute beast. 3 in total, all headshots, of course.
We knew that the task we've just made was probably like the biggest step of the tournament, you know.
One pistol's here, but that's giving it up. Kenyes hits the first 2 shots. Of course he does.
The semi-final was really exciting to play because, first of all, everybody loves an IP. So it was really exciting for us to play against the crowd. I personally enjoyed that a lot. We never let the game go, you know, which could have happened, but we never did.
In the grand final, G2 faced a somewhat unexpected opponent. North, with newcomer Valde showing off his strength.
Back to pistols for the north side of things.
The flank for Apex not quick enough. Valde comes charging through it. And North winning a critical round here in the grand finals.
We didn't have a beef, but I would say that it was a pretty cool matchup to play, and we are really happy to destroy them every time we had the opportunity to destroy them.
20 seconds flash into the middle. A great setup here. Body going to get one, and Shots will follow it up close range. 10 seconds left now. 9 seconds. Flick comes in on Valde, dropping the bomb. G2 Esports have played an incredible tournament, just 1 kill away, and it's going to happen. 16-9 as G2 are your DreamHack Masters champions.
We are 3 days into the DreamHack Masters winter, and today we're going to be sending more teams to the playoffs, and one of them could be 2017 Malmö champions G2, but we're also going to be saying goodbye. Who to? We'll soon find out.
DreamHack Masters Winter is brought to you by Intel, Corsair, Monster Energy, and MSI.
Welcome to the DreamHack Masters Winter. My name is Frankie Ward, and because I've been put to shame by Mr. Scorny and Mr. Launders over the last few days, I decided to get an iron out and try and wear a shirt. I mean, I feel like I am wearing the shirt, so the trying is working so far.
Whose funeral is it, Frankie?
My career's. Now, I want to ask you boys to do a little bit of maths for me. Normally, Elliot does it for us. He does the amazing facts that you'll see coming up during the games today. How many burgers have you boys eaten collectively during the last 3 days in Sweden?
I had 2 Big Macs for breakfast today, so that is 48 hours in Sweden, 6 burgers deep. It was good.
And a lot of tropical Fanta.
That's exotic.
Yeah, exotic, sorry.
Exotic.
I am operating right now on a particular fast food brand ice cream sundae, which had more whipped cream than sundae, and it had dime and caramel, and I think there's some still lodged in the back of my mouth that I'm going to enjoy later. We could not do this, by the way, without our sponsors, Monster Energy, Corsair, Intel, MSI, and the US Air Force. So thank you so much to them for making this all possible. And talking of fast food, we got some takeaways from yesterday. So, Scrawny, talk to us about Cloud9, because they never heard the lesson, always be closing.
Yeah, I mean, Esatag came into that game talking some smack, man. He said that was going to be a heyday. A heyday is what he expected their matchup to be versus ENCE. He thought they were going to completely dismantle them. And after the first half of the first map, I was all aboard. But then we had a little bit of struggle. Alex, I mean, in the post-game interview mentioning how he was feeling a little under the weather and his calling wasn't necessarily as crisp. He said he didn't tap into some of their preparation, some of their strategies. And I feel like we saw that. The T side got a little stuttered out. It started to spit, and then all of a sudden, they did close. It took 3 overtimes, but they did close. Map 2, Nuke, made it look like Esatag was correct in saying it was going to be a heyday, and then Cloud9 showed us a little life. So they need to improve on closing some matches, but maybe we chalk it up to Alex not being 10 on 10.
Yeah, he was like, 50 kills. So nuts.
Yeah, we need to get that boy some Lemsip. Also, from you, Launders, there's a particular story of joy, something we love to see when we're at big tournaments like this, and that is Gambit taking down 2 massive opponents to book a place in the playoffs.
Great tweet, by the way. Juggernaut and Colossus, they're actually the 2 out of 3 worst X-Men. The number 1 is the Gambit. Beat them both, 2-0'd them, put them in their place, and these are the guys who came as the underdogs, the guys who are getting some more respect recently, with Shiro, Nafany, with Axal, all leading the charge, doing amazing work, and they are going to be a team in playoffs that might be the favorite because of their most recent results. I'm wearing red for Gambit today.
I don't think they're going to be the favorite, personally. I mean, Heroic are already through to the playoffs.
Heroic didn't beat anyone as good as they did.
Yeah, but Heroic have won multiple tournaments this year. They won Cologne, they won Beijing?
Who won a tournament on Friday?
Who won a tournament on Friday?
Maybe it wasn't Friday. Sunday? Sunday.
There's tournaments literally every day. The only tournament I care about right now is this one. So let's take a look at the Group A bracket. And we can see, as we've just mentioned, Gambit through to the playoffs along with Heroic. And yes, they did 2-0 Spirit, but Spirit look good. I mean, they look great against FaZe.
Sure.
Yeah. But Contact also took a map off FaZe, and they did that without Emmy.
All right.
And he's been a real godsend for it.
Okay. Well, we're going to be talking, I'm sure, about Emmy soon, because he did take down Astralis. He did top frag against Astralis, and that is a story probably for about 10 minutes' time. But in the lower bracket, Complexity have got a face-off with FaZe, and Cloud9 have got a face-off against Spirit.
Yeah.
What if the Cloud9 boys go home? You're their official casters.
Yeah, that's true. But also, when we cast, they don't really lose very often. We're 3-1 right now for Cloud9 cast, so might be the good luck charm. The one loss we casted was the Mouse game. Mouse definitely looked like the better team, but Spirit will definitely have some struggles so far. We're seeing some consistency. I think ENCE was a good test for teams around the level of Spirit, if that makes sense. So I think they should be good odds to win that game, along with Complexity to win theirs.
And Godsend versus Mouse. That's going to be a really interesting matchup, because Mouse are looking hot to trot at the moment. Godsend, the fact that they took down Astralis, they're going to have so much confidence in the server.
I will pick Mouse versus any team in the playoffs at the moment. They also beat Heroic. They also beat Complexity. They beat Cloud9 as well. Or did they beat Complexity and Cloud9? Or just Cloud9? I don't think they maybe haven't fought to Complexity just yet. But Mouse have just been getting better and better. Confidence is really high. All the players are looking really good. And in their interviews, BMAS and Robs both said about themselves that they were at the top of their game.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can win then, because if they're at the top of their game right now and they don't win, that doesn't bode well for the future. But let's take a look at the schedule, because you also noticed there, I'm sure, G2 versus Furia, and that is going to be our second match on the A stream today. So excited for this one. I cannot wait.
Yes!
I cannot wait to just hijack your cast. Oh, I wasn't meant to say that out loud. I can't wait to stand on the sidelines and applaud your cast.
Frankie, you can't take away something you're already a part of.
Yay! Oh.
Our cast.
Oh my god, these guys are so nice.
I am right there with you. That second matchup, G2 versus Furia. I mean, if I didn't have Astralis and Team Liquid as an appetizer,
it'd beat anyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
except for Complexity versus Cloud9, which might come.
That is maybe the very best.
A lot of good matches here, is what we're saying.
Over on the B stream, Namiga Gaming are going up against North, and that one is going to be cast by Vincent Tom. They're on the B stream, twitch.tv/DreamHack CS2 Kenny VT all over again. So if you open a new tab and you just want to see little Kenny S a couple of years ago when he was probably about 14 years old, you're welcome. But right now on this stream, because I seem to have retired from doing interviews, it's been a busy year. I've just not had time for anything, quite frankly. I've been traveling all around the world, doing loads of different games. That is all a lie. But what is not a lie is that Get Right is actually a fantastic natural interviewer, and he caught up with Nico.
For almost my entire life, playing Counter-Strike was everything, and it was everything I dreamed of. I won trophies, traveled the world, and played in the biggest arenas. I spent my career as a player being asked the same stupid questions.
How do you feel?
Over and over.
What went wrong?
And over again.
You had a terrible CT side. How did you turn it round to take the game? Why are Astralis the best team in the world?
But now I decided to face a new challenge, to interview the players I once faced on the servers. Because if Frankie can do it, I mean, anyone can do it. Hi Nico, thank you so much for taking your time to chit-chat with me for the upcoming Masters tournament. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey Chris, I'm doing alright. Just having an off day right now, so I'm happy to do some content with you. I haven't seen you in a long time and heard of you, so always happy with some interviews.
Thank you. I appreciate it big times. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Like, I know since this year has been very special for basically everyone in the scene, especially for you since, I mean, you changed team, also because of the COVID, so there's like no lands and all that kind of things. But since you've been doing such a big growth in general, like you've been working out more, getting more healthier, your lifestyle has changed a lot through the years. Like, how would you describe your like mental stage and your health-wise when you like came into the big leagues in phase, basically?
It helps you a lot just to like release some pressure after the game, or like even before the game. Like if you have like routine before the game, like it just puts you in the right mindset once you get into the game. Like okay, like I did my routine now, like I'm feeling ready for the game. Like if I don't do my routine before the game, I just feel like I don't have a feeling that I'm playing the game. So I always try to like have some routine before it. Nothing too crazy, but just some like physical activities in my life helped me a lot. So I would recommend everyone out there who is not doing to start doing it. I think it's gonna help them a lot.
I think that's like a good mentality to have as a professional gamer, and surely it helps like health-wise as well. It's a big factor into that. But
it helped me a lot throughout the career, definitely.
Did like face like, hey, we got a trainer for you to help you out and all that kind of stuff? Or how was it for you really back then?
Yeah, like no one really forced me to lose weight or start working out, honestly. Just myself, like I could not imagine being a superstar and not looking healthy or like not looking good. So that's kind of the mindset I have. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna be a superstar, like I wanna be a role model for everyone. So that was the reason why I started doing it.
Impressive, Nico. Impressive. Like it's a really good describing of yourself. I think I don't think anyone would describe it like that, but when you're saying it, it makes complete sense of like, you're a little bit cocky, but you have all rights to be so because you're so fucking good. That's how I see on it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people see me cocky already and with a big ego and everything, but honestly, like I'm just always being honest. It's just who I am. Like I can't change, and yeah.
I mean, it's not cocky when it's true, right?
I mean, for some people it isn't. So that's why they take it differently, which I understand. For some people, I'm not a superstar. I didn't achieve the things that to be the one, so I understand it. But I believe that I have what it takes to be one at least. Yeah. So I'm doing everything together.
I mean, if someone would disagree with you regarding that, then I would say that they're just stupid, if you ask me a personal opinion, because you are, man, you are. But thank you so much, Nico, for having the time and taking the opportunity for the interview. I would love to actually speak more, but, you know, it is what it is. But still, looking forward to the next game, and good luck on DreamHack Masters.
Thank you, Chris. It was great talking to you, man.
Absolutely smashed it, Get Right. Thank you for joining Nico for that one. Thank you, Nico, also for being one of Get Right's victims this week. One of the things I found really interesting from that interview, because I got to sort of stand at a distance and type up and make notes on what was being said in the interview, was actually Nico talking about not staying in FaZe. He said, I couldn't stay in FaZe. I did not want to invest in the team anymore, so we couldn't afford the players we wanted. We wanted to get Alex. We wanted to be the best in the world. Everyone wanted to see us playing finals. I'm not happy with semi-finals. I want to be in the finals winning. And during COVID, we couldn't travel to a boot camp, and it's hard to stay focused when you can't see each other. So it was a really tough period, and he's very sorry to leave cold, but he could not stay in FaZe. We could not rot together. So far, FaZe isn't rotting. They've got one more chance to be in this tournament, but it does seem like FaZe need a rebuild now that Nico's not there.
I would say that they are. Actually, no. I would say they are rotting. I'd say that. I mean, that's just using his words. I mean, I think that's a really good descriptor. That the fact that he ended on that line, I think, really tells you kind of what the vibes inside of the FaZe camp is, because they themselves mentioned, right, it felt too emo. That's what Rain said. It feels emo at the moment. So I wouldn't say they've rotted yet, but they are in the process of doing it, man. They're down in the lower bracket. They've lost a map to Contact. That is a scary situation for FaZe, because either we're going to watch some players kind of fizzle out in this tenure, or maybe they reinvigorate somehow. But right now, that process is definitely underway.
Well, let's take a look at the stakes here at DreamHack Masters Winter. I'm not talking about prize pools here. I'm talking about points. This is a point allocation for DreamHack Masters Winter. And we already have a few teams who are qualified to the Katowice, because this is part of the road to Katowice. ESL Pro Tour, really, it's all about Katowice and Cologne. These are the events that every team wants to go to. The Spodek, the Laxness, these are iconic venues. So let's take a look at Europe and see how the points are falling, because Team Vitality, Heroic and Astralis are all guaranteed to make it to Katowice. Na'Vi are guaranteed to one or the other, I believe, just from my notes. That means that they are guaranteed at least a play-in spot. Results are going to decide for them. So basically, their spot in Katowice, whether it's direct or play-in, depends on how all the other teams play. And FaZe Clan, you can see they're currently in the space for a direct spot, but they might not be guaranteed it.
No, definitely. Complexity, Spirit, Mouse, here we look at a first or second place finish between those three teams could completely change the standings, knock FaZe out of that top 6 spot. And like Mouse or Complexity, that's extremely likely.
Agreed.
And for Spirit, it's maybe likely, but we'll see.
Katowice really is going to be about the teams that managed to thrive under the pressure of what was a very, very unusual year. And what makes this year even more unusual is that Liquid and Astralis haven't faced each other in 2020. But they will be after this break.
don't ever lose. Put the evil in the devil, let him let it loose. I'm an earthquake, make your bones shake. There's no question I'm the king, I always dominate a fucking.
It's nearly game time for Team Astralis versus Team Liquid. This is a matchup for the ages, but unusually it's in the lower bracket. Only one of these teams can make it through to the playoffs. And before we get into the meat of things, I want to see if you guys know your stuff, because it is time for our buff. Our sports buff. And so I will need you guys to keep your eyes on Twitch, because we've got a sports buff extension and we're going to be testing your knowledge throughout the rest of the week. And here's your first question, okay? Who won the DreamHack Masters Malmo last year? Was it A, Fnatic, B, Vitality, C, NIP, or D, Furia? You know this. I see that on your face. I feel like you know this. I don't think you're allowed to say the answer.
I was going to say, I didn't think that question was for me. I know. I didn't listen that much.
You're not allowed to say.
I know, I'm going to say.
We need the audience.
If we stay on the segment, I'm going to say.
We need the audience to get that one. I should definitely know this one, because I did a winner's interview. I was on stage, guys. I used to be on stage when we had those. All right, let's talk about. Yeah, this is our stage now. We're so grateful. I'm personally very grateful to be here right now with this bad boy. Although it's been a very good boy so far. This is the Group B bracket. So, Astralis, Liquid. I had to actually look for a while to find them because they're in the lower bracket, and that's still a shocker to me, to be honest.
This used to be the match of 2019. This was grand finals after grand finals, and well, of course, we know how it went. Astralis always taking them down
by close margins. Always close,
Oh,
but consistently.
You know, now the greats have taken a bit of a trip. They've stumbled, and they find themselves down in the lower bracket. Difference being, this is the same Astralis. This is not the same Team Liquid.
It isn't because of Grim, because of Mosey, okay? The thing is, though, here's what was weird, okay, to set up. Can I call him Mosey?
Mosey on over, partner.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a massive fan of Lil Momo,
He moseyed off the
which is
desk
what Stunner
onto
created
Liquid.
and I keep using, but Mosey. Oh, okay, it works.
It
He
should just
moseyed
be
on over.
he
He moseyed
over.
out of the green room, abandoned us all, and went
Yeah.
to Team Liquid.
Okay. But to talk about this veto, because just high level though, not like the actual specific maps, that's coming up in a second, but just what made the matchup last year was the fact that it was so close, except for Astralis would always win a free map in the veto off of their pick because their map pool was stronger, and it was about Liquid trying to improve their map pool so they could finally not have to have a random go of it on Dust 2, which they continued to lose, and they started bringing Vertigo, but they never figured it out all the way up until the Blast Global Finals, and that was the last time they lost, the last time they played almost a full year ago.
It's actually mad, isn't it? All right, Twitch chat. It'll be really interesting to see who you've got taking this one. We are on European time, Liquid are on European soil, so I'm thinking that there are probably a few Astralis jersey owners in the Twitch chat right now.
Is this a 10 a.m. match?
This is the 10 a.m. match. Is that what you call it?
Well, in NA, yeah, we complain about 10 a.m. matches.
Is it 10 a.m.? No, it's not even 10 a.m. there.
Yeah, so they're probably definitely not awake.
Yeah. It's actually quite scary. But you know what? I know that Liquid have got fans all around the world because I've met quite a few of you now. So let's talk about Astralis Ziplex. He's made his long-awaited return to the roster. He played with them at Blast. He played with them at Beijing, I believe, but he hasn't necessarily shown his form that we expect from him just yet.
Well, recently he had a match where he top fragged, but then Glaive bottom fragged. It was a very upside down thing. Like, right, I think this was the match, maybe not versus Godsend, but right before that. And then coming into this tournament, Glaive talked about changing things up, and that hasn't worked out so well. So we'll see. They probably came in a little bit more prepared. Interesting. The fact that Zipix may actually be playing well, but other things are starting to fall apart. That's not the outcome that we expected of all the possible.
It's like in that series from earlier in the week, but it's a bit more about what was going on.
Yeah, I think Godsend played pretty well. I mean, it's tough to prepare for an opponent who just changed their in-game leader. We tried to do as much as we could, but it looks like it wasn't enough, or maybe just the individual skill wasn't there. But overall, I think just Godson playing good and us not playing as we should.
Even if they get onto the site, and that's a big query still, they have to contend with a Molotov of Farley.
Going up against Liquid is of course going to be tough. We were used to getting out on top, but right now I don't feel like we are hitting the Astralis 2018 peak level, so I think actually it'll be a really close game.
Aggression back onto the site, and the rest of the troops to start to culminate through connector, and Madden's not slowing down. That was nuts.
Because Liquid is still figuring things out. They do have very strong CT sides. That's something they seem to have worked on so far.
Yeah, the only team that's really destroyed those CT sides would have been Furia. Matchup, once we went and played against each other, where they size up in terms of Habs. It's a good question.
For playing, but what did you make of their performance?
Yeah, their aim was off that day. That's how good out-nading them.
So if Astralis do get the protocols right, they should beat Liquid.
I think, I mean, this is their strongest map. I'm sorry, European snuff right now is what I would say.
Well, one player who did pop off, especially...
He now realizes the error of his ways, but maybe he can recover this on his own. He drops the bomb carrier, who is looking to join them. Holy hell of a no-scope.
Going them away, and they're away with us.
Two snipers in the app. Chris flicked, hits the shot, but Napfly takes the kill.
Yeah, no, I haven't played Astralis in a while. I don't remember the last time we played them. Going into that game is obviously going to be tough because it's Astralis no matter what.
We need to also make sure we don't get off. Oh my god. He's knocking them down like bowling pins.
They had like that weird switch around with some of their pros, but now they're kind of back to their full five, so yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes.
I feel like they're going to be
I'll tell you
cool.
why. I'll tell you why. No matter what, I know that Stewie's always confident playing against Astralis. How to beat MIBR. MIBR were the team with Tarek and Stewie that got closest to beating Astralis 3 or 4 times in the last year before disbanding. But then he took that up until...
Set up at being the third wheel here, so I want you guys to pick a player each from each team and then go head to head.
And select somebody who is slotted into a Team Liquid that was legit, but he definitely brought in a player that I think his performance happens could take this Liquid to the #1 spot in the world.
I think maybe their T sides have struggled without Nitro, but their CG sides have improved with Grim. He's a definite firepower upgrade.
Nitro position. But tell me about Magus, why you're standing him.
Because when I think about the two playing Counter-Strike, they have like a very similar aim style, and they're both incredibly sharp and fast. Like I really look at them under the radar sometimes. Like even Device doesn't get his flowers sometimes, just because the team aspect on Astralis is so heightened. But when things are going kind of badly, Magisk is really the guy who can put together 2 or 3 kills around and is an incredibly strong rifler, kind of like what Grim is.
I'm really interested to see how this one goes down, especially if we do go to Inferno, because Device, he's not really picking up the AWP on the T side anymore. His rifling, it's something we're seeing even with Ziwu. So I wonder if it's just going to be up in your face Counter-Strike, and we're going to absolutely love to see it. But let's see what maps we're going to be playing this out on, because I actually don't know which way the veto is going to go. Astralis actually picked Dust 2 against Godsent the other day.
Yeah.
And they won on it.
Yeah, so their Dust 2 is really, really strong, and that's something that Liquid might try to be, they might be happy to see it. I think that Astralis should be picking Inferno here, because I don't think there's a world where Liquid will ban it, of course. They've got their permanent bans of Train and Mirage, and I don't think that's going to change. For this, you can overpass a very common, whether or not Vertigo will be played, and whether or not Dust 2 will be
pop off against one another.
I'd Inferno first, because then I think they'd be worried about Liquid actually banning it in the second wave.
They'd be missing a chance to punish Liquid if they don't. Yeah, there it is.
Okay,
Vertigo.
So Vertigo gets picked.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, now, and then I think Astralis, they're fine playing Overpass. Okay, there we go. We actually get Overpass as a third. This has been a really tough map for Liquid versus Astralis. They always struggled on this map, but now they've got Grim for their CT side, and it's always Astralis that started playing in order to try to take down Astralis. It was the map that they fell back on. But will they be able to take them down here?
And the very first map that they played with Grim on this roster was also Vertigo, and he dropped 30 kills. Yes, that's back in North America, but I think it's really awesome that they're coming at Astralis with a new piece of the puzzle, and they're going to try and throw him into a spot where we've seen him succeed. If he gets up in their faces on the A ramp, Astralis might be caught off by the newcomer.
I'm going ahead to Inferno really quickly, but that B defense, I'm wondering if they're actually going to
team on this map. Like they have everything.
They have everything, but they haven't looked like they've had everything together in the last few matches. So the jury's out for me.
I'm going to
hate this. I hate this. I need all the players to think I'm cool. So when I get to one day interview them again, I'm going to commit. I'm not going to ask the graphics guy to change my prediction. I'm going to go with it. But what are Twitch chat saying? 59% Astralis. They want to see this. They've been waiting their whole minutes to go until we get into this series. So grab yourself a can of Monster Energy, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the DreamHack Masters. Winter and Astralis and Liquid are warming up in the server for this firecracker of a matchup. And we are kicking off with Liquid's pick of Vertigo. And it feels like a little bit of a punish pick because I'm not really sure how Astralis are finding this map at the moment, especially now Xyphix has come back into the roster.
Yeah, I would call it a punish pick. It's a difficult spot. I think the only thing could be is just that they might have brought in new stuff in the past few days or something that they want to try. But again, this is a map that Astralis know how to play. So it's just a tough veto all around no matter what when you play against Astralis. The only thing they can count on is that they're off their game.
And tell me about Team Liquid as well. You know what? Don't tell me about Liquid. Cast over Team Liquid.
Okay.
Because we're getting into it.
Oh, Frankie, that's what we do best. So let's just go ahead and jump in.
Dabba dabba do, baby.
Dabba dabba do. Let's see how she goes. Astralis to the CT side. We got 3 sets of utility. 3 sets. Not 1, not 2, but 3.
Yeah, sometimes this can be, I mean, obviously a lot of retake utility on both sides. I actually like this as a CT side play. You can give up both sides and retake with the right amount of utility. And it looks like Liquid are going B, which makes the utility even stronger on the CT side.
We got Dupree back by the quad column. Finds the bomb carrot. Nobody's even reacting to him. Grim eventually going to turn his head. Grim on pistols. I think that's something that he brings to this team in terms of an X factor. We see him with 3Ks more often than not, but he gets popped by Device. And we are at an even keel. Bomb is planted for Liquid, so the retake is on. They've got still 2 smokes, 1 flash, 1 frag. They're going to start chucking some of that out already. Flashbang comes over here towards the top of the stairs, gets Astralis beyond the green box, twists, catching the headshot, and then it's Magic's to trade one. Right where Dupree was able to open the round, but Zipnix through smoke catches the headshot. Now we've got Twist thinking he's on the defuse, but he hasn't stuck it. Zipnix now coming back into it, has no time to find this despite getting a knife kill. It's money for Astralis, but a pistol for Liquid.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation. So the fact that Zip doesn't feel comfortable spamming the smoke, having such few bullets to work with, and Twist does the right thing to get on it and try to knife in the smoke. That just makes a lot of sense. This is a bad smoke here by Astralis when they tried to come in for the retake, which you'd think for even something like that, they'd have that lined up. I don't know if they left that crack open on purpose, but that's what got exploited by Team Liquid. So a T-side pistol could be worth its weight in gold for them. We know, again, in their comeback versus Mad Lions, it was all about their CT side. They had a really, really strugglesome T side. But coming in today, this is one where they definitely watched the demo, they talked things over, and they're going to try to be a bit more of a two-way team here with the T side in mind.
Heavy investment into Magisk this round. That armored M4 flashed into the bottom of the ramp, but Elige was on the other side of the smoke, tucked behind him. And suddenly Glaive, well, he's left to hold this without that M4, without his initial teammate. He has Zipnix move over towards short shelf, but this is Liquid taking down what could have been the biggest threat of the round, and they still have a minute to work.
These two teams have been whetstones for each other in the past years and have created some of the best competition that we've seen level of Counter-Strike overall for all other teams to look up to for different reasons. But that's what makes this match so exciting, to see them go head-to-head once again. And it feels like this is something Astralis need right now, to play a team like Liquid, to figure out where they really stand.
Meanwhile, you know Liquid thinking to themselves, like, if Astralis are wounded, you know how many losses they had to take last year? This could be one for the confidence, this could be one for the pride. Team Liquid decide to commit into the B site. Grim finding Glaive, just trying to hold it. A nice and quiet mid-round rotation from Liquid once they got that initial A play. Kind of shut down poor Magisk with the M4. I mean, he was primed to go big, but he turned his back to Elige in the corner. And from there on out, Team Liquid keeping everybody alive with this bomb plant with it. Ump for Zipnix. If they can go down into ramp and get the M4, that'd be a little bit of a bonus. Device, bad timing on the knife swap. That's going to cost him, and potentially, the M4 too.
It's an incredibly important match here for Grim. If he's ever been nervous, again, there's just so much history here. A win would be amazing. This is a confidence match for Stewie as an IGL. Again, even though Astralis has always been the hardest competition, he particularly has always understood Astralis above any other team because of his time playing under Fallen. And now will be the proving ground as to like how much there is that they've learned and how comfortable they are in these spots. 2-0 down, and Astralis, they use that knife kill to invest into an early M4 for Magisk.
Yeah.
They weaponize him, send him down the A ramp, but he gets into an untradeable spot and doesn't get a kill. Now in this round, they're just going to have the UMP, MP9, and a couple of pistols behind it to try to get some damage in. They'll probably have to concede the round, but of course, the quota on rounds like these is 3 kills.
Ooh, there's 2 already. Grim actually did slip away with that M4, excuse me. That's why Zipnix is on only the ump. So let's see if they exchange weapons yet again, because they're about to face off here towards short. This is going to be an interesting head-to-head. Grim and Zipnix on short shelf, both CT and T side. You know, it's a big brain player for Grim to go up against. Grim's patience could pay off with this one. He peeks into it. Good thing he had the weapon advantage, because he takes a shot to the face, down to 7 HP. like two biker gangs facing off. Grim, he's the newcomer, doesn't know why his friends hate these opponents, but you just gotta put up and you gotta deliver.
Yeah, that is an interesting duel because, of course, you know, Grim, we know him because of his mechanics primarily. A little bit of inexperience, but plenty of mechanics, whereas Xyp9x is kind of the opposite story. So for them to be playing similar spots, going head-to-head on both sides, will be fun to watch. Xyp9x finds his ADR one way or another.
Quick little team ace for the third one. Now we get to see the real test. Device immediately into the op, and we've got guns on Astralis.
So we're going to pay attention to spots here and see how this establishing round goes. This is where your hands get a bit clammy. If you're Liquid, you want to make sure that you start off on the right foot. And of course, again, as the just helps boost their T-sides so dramatically to be able to put Astralis immediately onto another save. They get flushed off of this position. Dupree loves to jump up on the wood wall and fight down in the stairs. Twist is always holding the B push from this position. And right now it is just a standard default, a feel-out round from both sides. No initial A aggression. And this is Elige's job as well, to be a mosquito coming up to the short shelf. Spamming through smokes, figuring out where the CTs are, forcing them to shoot back, getting spam damage in.
So we see two players from Astralis have their initial positions countered out by incendiaries. I do not question Liquid's utility usage when it comes to Vertigo. Device, he's going to pop that flash. Glaive goes running into this. It's on the money, but Grim delivers one, and then his teammates can recover in that moment. But Twist gets shot down by Device, and Naf has to clutch in a 1 versus 3. Astralis throwing themselves into the setup from Team Liquid. And it's worked out well. I think Xyp9x actually steals one of these kills through the smoke, so that kind of counters any type of short pinch that could have come in from Liquid. Certainly would have helped out Naf in this position. Device highly anticipating the walkout, and he finds it. That is a first round for Astralis the moment they have guns.
As easy as that round is at the end, of course, that kill is critical to keep 3 alive. That trade very, very important. That Device gets to help their economy out a lot, so they'll rebuy behind everything. And Liquid, fortunately for them, have enough money to buy as well. So we'll get back-to-back rifle rounds here to kick things off. Chance again for Liquid to destroy the economy of Astralis.
Early fight. CT's posturing. Gonna put Glaive behind the tarp. Now this is real pressure. Astralis, they try to run through it, and Elige is going to shut down the front runner. So Astralis having to now just kind of back up onto their hold, and well, they've got the utility to do it. Let's see if Liquid can flex that man advantage.
They failed that opening push a couple of times now, Astralis. Magic with Glaive. Glaive has also died on other openings on other parts of the map. So this is a really good sign here for Liquid. Winning that opening duel should mean a lot. Now it comes down to the CTs, where they pick their spots to re-aggress, how they approach A after A ramp is won, and how they do it at a player disadvantage.
Ooh, Device gets chipped away at, sits on 70. Utility very much dwindling for Astralis at this point. Single smoke left, 1 frag, 2 flashes. Device on the same angle as the round prior. This additional volley of smokes is working well for Liquid. Astralis, they're going to boost the player up beyond. And Naf, his position, his plant gets called out by Xyp9x. Again, back-to-back rounds with kills through smoke. The Device, the wall bang, denies the default plant. That's going to force Liquid back to where they originally wanted to put down this bomb. Elige a little off of it. Just slightly different spot to dodge further spam. That's sick. Astralis, 2 lineups, 2 different bomb plants canceled out, and that is how they get themselves to the even 3v3. But the push, that's what they need next. And Device is going to deliver with the op. Stewie's looking for his head. All 3 CTs on the ground floor. Twists, he hits 1, but he's down to 11 health, and they're trying to pressure him as that bomb ticks. Dupree hits it at a second round for Astralis.
It's to the wire here. Down to the 1v1. Nice attempt from Twist. As you can see, the way he was jostling with this angle, he's trying to constantly create a headshot fight so that it has to take the best aim possible to kill him. Make it so that it has to be a 100 HP shot to the head. And here are the protocols that are winning the round for Astralis. There are long grenades coming into the retake, but they keep up enough players to make it viable. Device lines up the default plant, and of course, there's only one other plant that most teams are using, and that's covered by Zipic. So, as you mentioned, that smoke, the smokes that go down can sometimes work against you, especially if the CTs are prepared to use them.
Frag grenade misses the mark, and this time we don't see that early Astralis aggression.
And honestly, I think it's for the best based on what we've seen. So far, all the aggressive openings from Astralis have been pretty much shut down, starting from the second round.
This one's going to be a little faster. They're going to lay down that smoke in the middle of it. Elish taking damage, dishing damage out. Astralis, they weren't quite ready for this one. They didn't have all their pieces in position, but they do go for the double boost back on CT shelf. Look at the health that is left over for Astralis. This time they cannot contest the bomb plant, and look how quickly they walk away. They want the 5-player save. They forfeit a 4th.
No mollies. They used their HEs and missed because Nafly tapped the bomb and drew back a bit. That was a good bait by him. They finally avoid losing players while planting, which is a key component to this map, of course. Sometimes it gets a bit silly with the smoke spams and wall bangs, but ultimately that's the game you have to play. And Liquid, they just didn't do those first steps before. So Liquid pull away with another round. 5v5 situation, so Astralis keep their economy intact, but Liquid don't really have the financial standing to go and try to get those kills. So it's a stalemate here. However, Liquid win the round, which is enormous for them. This is already a really great start, and we saw even that last round come down to a 1v1 as well. They keep just enough here for everybody to rebuy into their nades, and they can try again. And I think for Astralis, of course, it makes sense that they wanted to go back and turn it down a gear in the early round. Let them have a ramp. But what I think they need to do, if they're not going to do that, is try to get damage off on the ramp over the wall. And we've got a stat.
Simple maths. Zipnix has more knife kills than Glaive has kills so far today. Damn, Elliot, how are you going to do him like that?
That is an important thing to talk about because Glaive has been very off and on, and he's been a very critical part to their CT side as the Astralis have developed recently. Again, citing that there's more CT aggression than ever before, and he is one of those players that comes in to provide it, him and Dupree. And that's what he said about Bubsky, that Bubsky was also like him a little bit too much, and then when they were on the same team, there were too many players taking too many risks at the same time. Okay. And so he is kind of talking about this and how it's a very important part of the CT sides these days. But look at Magisk, he's also getting a little bit frisky. He'll spot some opponents and fall back. He'll hear one, see another, drop an incendiary, and get out of dodge. There's a little bit of information gained as Device takes a peek down the A ramp. Smoke is on the left side, and that opens things up for Device to have line of sight here, and that's the last thing you want to give him.
He's got 2 more players already sitting down ahead of him, and Twist looks like he wants to come join. As opposed to using Zipnix over on the short shelf, we've actually got him basically side by side with Device. It allows him to go for the peek off of the rifle, thinking that these terrorists are closing that distance, and sure enough, they are. We saw the same grenade last round do barely any damage. This time it takes a quarter off of Stewie and Grim. This is a good position for Astralis. It's not like last round where Liquid were able to catch them by surprise. They've already got 2 CTs inside of the site and Zipnix over on tarp. If they do nothing to deal with Zipnix, then they are going to have a compromised backline, and that does not bode well for them. Magisk off the flash, double headshot for Liquid. They clear out both sides of it, and Device gets flashed, so he forfeits his angle. Those are crucial kills coming in from Liquid because it looked like they were about to get pinched. Instead, they punch, and Glaive goes through off of the hunch, assuming he could find a little control there, catch them with their bomb down, and Twist the double headshot as that post plant comes through. Team Liquid lead 5 rounds to 2 on the T side of map 1.
Now this gets a whole lot scarier when we think about the half 2 that's coming up again, Liquid CT side, so they are going to be feeling nice. I mean, at this point, they've just taken a shower, toweled off. They're like, man, we've already done it. We've got 5 rounds here on T side. This was the part that we had questions about ourselves. The preparation has paid off, and they are just winning all of these duels. That's the second time that Astralis have found a good opportunity to flash the A ramp right when the opponents have turned the corner, but they failed to actually get the kills. There's a very awkward exchange where they're jiggling on the ramp, They shoot, but then it's Liquid peak right after and actually win first. So I think we're going to try to watch some of this back, and this is Twist. Damn. Has also been fantastic, very clean with his rifle, very aware of things, and of course, getting that very nice kind of smoke shot to the boost box. Device is the only player to hold his gun from last round.
The popular vote, Astralis won more rounds than they lost versus Godsent, even though they lost. Which must mean maybe Dust 2, they had a...
Lost the best of 3, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember the numbers of rounds or one off the top of my head, unfortunately, Elliot.
Sometimes fun facts, sometimes tongue twisters. You never know what you get with Elliot.
Sometimes trivia.
Yeah.
I want to explain myself, right? Here's why I thought it was a bit of a punish pick from Team Liquid, because Zipnix has only just come back into the active roster, so there've been loads of changes made to Vertigo since he was last an active player.
Yeah.
So I figured maybe his protocols wouldn't be on point, but actually so far, given that he's had so much pressure on the A side, I don't think he's doing as badly as I expected. I think he's doing quite well.
Yeah, it's really, I feel like the question marks right now, Glaive and Magisk for the early rounds, who are struggling to have impact and are normally, at this point, it looks like being used to try to find the openings. You know, you fail a number of these, of course, it's going to catch up to you. And it looks like Astralis are no longer in a position where they can also fall back on just their grenades on the site. They had one good round where they did that, but beyond that, Liquid have been able to find trades despite them falling back. So, well, Magisk, he is on a Blue's Clues mission. He's got the scent. He's pushed through mid. He's clearing out the map control here, and Liquid, well, they're moving up towards A. So we'll see if this is a novel flank or if it's just going to end up...
Device is the reason Magisk was able to push through middle. That's where this sniper started the round. And now it's going to be boosted back on the CT shelf. This would be such a key round for Astralis to kind of rob back, because with just those couple of weapons, it'd be a real boost to the economy, a real kickstart, so to say. Magisk into position, all of Team Liquid, all 4 remaining members up here closer to the bomb site. They realize that they are just leaning and anticipating the CTs to come for their push. Twist sees nothing. Magisk hits him from down beneath. Naf a little delayed on that one, so a man advantage working out for Astralis. Device is off. He's basically giving Overwatch, but that's that 10-second defuse. Device is doing everything. Every kill that tries to peek into the bomb carrier, Device sticks the landing.
And he's the one gun that saved from the last round, in a round they wouldn't have been able to rebuy into it. So off of this force buy, they get their economy back on their feet. Device looking a little bit like Simple these days, huh? You see that haircut? My goodness. He has been great, right? And these shots are all quite easy, but the shots always look easy with Device. That's the problem with him, of course. He's never going to get a lot of flashy kills, even though he has a few. But the reason he's such a consistent performer is because he almost always finds a way to get the kill with the least friction possible.
Off the back of the last round win, we get to see Astralis back to where they started on their A setups. That aggression into the ramp worked well for Glaive, but then we have, of course, Magisk slain, gets hit by the options.
So I think from down in the ramp, I want to say it was also through a smoke.
Sure, it was.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Time to play the B site. We got a boost on the orange box and Device. This, of course, in case they're trying to boost on the side of the stairs, throw a player up on a different angle, anticipating that this normal line would be watched, but Device, because of the grenades, feels a little intimidated. Debris here to try and help him. Grim gets that kill, and Device is sitting on only 4 points of health. He's got to be cautious of the fight.
Oh, he's off the building!
Down he goes!
Top Cruise does his own stunt!
Glaive and Zipnix, all that's left to try and recover this one. Talk about mission impossible. These T's already locked in on the backside of the site. That is a blunder.
Why has he done that? Oh my goodness. 2 shots missed, and then he falls off the building with the gun, the golden op that saved them in the last round. Well, I don't think we've named that part of the map yet, so maybe we can call that Device.
I think we should call it Mission Impossible.
There we go.
Sure. Oh, damn. Just sent sailing as well. You can see the difference, right? Compare and contrast. Device on that CT shelf in the back of the A site to where he was just playing in this most recent round in the middle of the site. No coverage, no teammates ahead of him, not playing Overwatch, but rather that front line. And just a little too overwhelmed, it seems, by the heat of the moment. This is that angle.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
wow.
Perfect vision. It was just a great shot. Oh, man.
I love how he throws the incendiary like, I can still help!
A funny thing that might actually bring the mood up a little bit, depending on how you look at it. He falls off the building, Astralis falling apart, but it's a funny moment there. It's a 9-gag moment here for Astralis.
Device right back at it. Yeah, don't think that's going to break this man. Although he does miss his second shot. Nafly takes a bit of a risk extending into the trade, but good thing the aim was crisp.
That could actually be a very critical trade, right? He comes back for the repeat, but he leaves mid-open now, so Nafly can kind of camp this bomb, and it forces Astralis to react to it, because they know this op now becomes this very key point of the map. Yep. Both teams want to fight for.
100% opens up the A site. Zipnix is going to have to hold this one alone as Magisk's allocated to mill. Because Astralis, with losing him, they didn't move back off of the B site at all. And now there's a gap. You can see it at the timing. No sets of eyes on mid. Naf still lingering over there. It does draw a player off of the B site, so technically they could always rock this boat back. We do have a nice amount of utility here for Liquid, but Nafi gives up his back, and then that little moment of uncertainty nearly costs him. Glaive is going to be preoccupied with Nafly. If he sticks into mid, this could really open the B stairs, but Glaive, big brain, knows already that he has to get ahead of the execution. So Magisk's immediately thrown back onto middle watch. Dupree's going to play this close box, and he has Glaive just a couple steps behind him. Team Liquid with a little bit of a stutter step will get that trade frag, but check out the damage. Magisk coming on over, and 3 kills to lock down the B site. Team Liquid, they could have caught him off guard, but Astralis seemed to know what was coming the entire time.
And they have this cone fire, just putting all this pressure onto the ramp, and everybody who came into it just got drilled by the M4 bullets. It wasn't even like a hot showing of mechanical skill, just these spray downs right to the center of their bodies as they attempted to trade. And Astralis, with that round, will put Liquid on a save. A very strange series of events that we've just seen in these past couple of rounds, and somehow it's Astralis to come out on top of it. And Device continues to have impact. Another shot here on Grim.
Desert Eagle's taking a bit of a tumble. Maybe Elige gets a Hail Mary, cracks open this A site. But there is always, of course, that threat of Device towards the short side of things. Stewie. Ooh, Stewie. Nice Desert Eagle headshot. Of course, a second player from Astralis immediately going to go ahead and take up that position. It's Magisk.
You didn't see that. Oh, Elige.
Now things get interesting.
He'll slink out.
Magisk, he's going to get hit from 2 directions, throwing himself into another bomb site hold. 3 kills back-to-back for Magisk.
Yeah, he's bringing it up a little bit. And it feels like the confidence is way off for Astralis. So some of the opening kills, Magisk in the early rounds, Dupree, Glaive, they all look a little bit off right now, which is always surprising, but it feels like they're starting to get warmed up again. So I'm expecting some hot entries and also some better holds at the same time. However, Device drops a shot into the lower ramp twist. He'll get that info on where Device is at the moment. Don't know if this means that Liquid will push faster up a ramp, but look how much progress they've already made.
Glaive slipping into the short side. Team Liquid going to make sure they clear out the sandbags, but that hasn't been occupied really. It's Astralis with these mid-moment flashbangs and trying to push into the setups.
The hard part about this, right, is trying to convince your opponents to use their utility, because Astralis want to hold on to it no matter what, but you don't want to get in the site and plant without them throwing out some grenades.
Glaive's on the front side of the smokes, and he delivers the first one. Substantial damage into Stewie makes this a bit of an awkward spot for Liquid. But it seems like Astralis are going to respect this a bit. Bomb plant's not denied. However, you talked about getting their utility.
Here's where you talk. Utility, health, and player advantage. This is all that matters right now.
Half barely alive. Falls off on 36 HP. We've seen them lose a post plant in this similar position because of Device, but now he's dropping a couple of shots. Magisk's already inside of the site. He's just going to go ahead and stick this defuse. Liquid take him off of it. Elige with the double kill into Device as well. 2-man advantage turned into the double. Look at this. Elige providing a performance in the post plant, and Dupree can't get himself more than one. Liquid going to take another round win off of this A site.
Well done. They go for the Hail Mary stick, and they even survive the bomb explosion at the end, which could have made a difference. One player low there. This is the big one, I think, because Elige was the player who crossed over to sandbags, and Device dropped the shot on him. Sometimes it does come down to 1 kill, and that could have been a moment where it does. If no one crosses sandbags, no one crosses after that, and we don't see a future where Elige gets 2 kills. But what this means is, of course, Liquid back into this. After a couple of strange rounds, losing to an eco, they win another rifle. So for the confidence, it's got to be teaming for Liquid at the moment. They are looking very good.
Flash around the corner, Stewie catches one.
There's a boost here. It has been foregone.
Wallbang damage on point. Magus gets moved over. Glaive's going to stand a little bit further back because he has the smoke and the flash, but yeah, that boost, not really going to work out for Astralis. Liquid on high alert. They find Glaive as well, trying to push into the short shelf. Magus will tippity tap the head of Stewie 2K. And then, well, Dupree falls finally. It's an 8th round for Team Liquid on this T side. Rewards for winning a rifle round and pushing Astralis into the economic dumps, but it's not over just yet. A pause for Astralis.
Jobsite has suffered one injury. Vertigo is a condition that makes you feel dizzy and sick and is often caused by height. Right, Device? I would love to, at the end of the year, just see a montage of the players who are the players we have lost to Vertigo this year. Because there's quite a few. There's definitely one moment where I've seen someone hit the bottom.
Just
and it took them about 30 seconds.
You get like a Guess Who's game, and then we just knock them down one after another. Black out their pictures. Rest in pepperonis.
This used to be the 3rd meal in a 3-course meal, Vertigo, in these vetoes. Always, it was coming in last. So this is kind of an interesting one. I guess the few times they did play it, Liquid tried to pick into it. Oh, Device goes for that another opening. Twist will immediately shut him off, and again, that's information on the A ramp, but look who's here this time around. However, all the while, Liquid are actually turning their attention to mid, so something a little different.
Nice, Glaive, good position. Only able to get the one. It's Twist and Naf to combine on the B site.
Key kills for Twist.
That missed grenade from Zipnix actually could have helped out. Would have given Glaive a little bit less health to have to shave off of Naf, who is on 56.
Damn, we see the game plan develop a little bit more. Now, it is a 2v3, but look at this flank. I mean, it's just, Nafly, he peels back off his position only to re-aggress upon it and lock down the rotation. And now, of course, Zipek has to be concerned about that fact, but Nafly goes down, 1-on-2 spot, no nades to work with. Surely this is over.
And this guy does know how to clutch. No kit, though. No kit on the play, so just going to get these Ts to scramble, wanting them to go down with him, because this is inevitably a 9th round for Team Liquid. And they're shooting for the double digits in the first half of Vertigo.
Yeah. Tim hasn't played with Stu in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
Golden years. There is development here. We go for the early, Twist is coming through on B, and of course, it's just conditioning. He's showing his face every round so that, like, Astralis don't know that they're doing anything new. But this time, of course, Liquid are going for the mid control, and they bust out mid so quickly. It's like a totally new development. That's what you like to see, a T-side evolving in that way, and Liquid continuing to win rounds based on these developments. Of course, it's easier to win rounds when you've already won rounds, if that makes sense, because you have the advantage of conditioning, and Liquid are pressing that advantage right now.
Zipnix has a flashbang prime for Glaive. Oh, he just eats a frag grenade, though. Pops on his head. A shrapnel haircut. Glaive's going to go extending around. Ooh, what? That frag grenade. That hurt. Magisk, he's going to hear his teammate.
It was a teammate, huh?
Enemies run away. So at least Astralis know what's going on, but the question is, what can they really do about it? Deagle from Magisk cuts down one player, but he doesn't anticipate Naf in the corner. Twists give good cover to the bomb plant, and it all lines up. Team Liquid doubling the round count of Astralis on this T side. Ladies and gentlemen, dare I say it, we've got ourselves a game. God, that pause felt way too long. Felt like it lasted a day. I want more of this. Astralis versus Liquid. Now it is Team Liquid taking to the CT side, where they began their success in Europe. We've seen a far more evened experience with Liquid, but what we haven't seen as much as we did in that first half is a man like Twists.
Man like Twist, he was his HSP. I want to know what it is because it feel like it was damn near 100% with 13 kills he got. He was looking laser sharp, and not only that, he wasn't just being like a stylish aimer. He was there in all the critical spots to get trades. But we're already up into the pistol. There's pressure on both sides, but Grim is going to spot the majority down on the ramp. The rotations are not quite here, so maybe he doesn't have that info quite yet. The CTs will start to come over, but it seems like they're more intent on holding B early than A.
Smoke grenade goes out. Block the left side of the site. Glaive just peppering it with the Glock. The old 5-man retake. Oh! Alish thinking he could just slip some shots through smoke. Zipnix finally plants his bomb, looks up like, just flicks him off his shoulder like a bug. And now we have a tough job for Liquid. Already a man disadvantage, and check out this What? Oh!
He said, I want to come back and play.
Zipnix just somehow slips the bullet into him. And look, they're trying to find out where Zipnix has got off to. They're wondering, like, did that really just happen? And I guarantee you it did. Grim, he'll take 2 kills in the pistol, but Zipnix, this is just heavenly.
Yeah, he's looking good. He was looking good. Liquid are looking tasty. That was a round where he pulled off this miraculous opening kill after putting the bomb down, and then flanking in the same round through their smoke after pushing through and killing Stewie. That's all about Zipix, really. That's what it comes down to. And of course, nature of the beast on Vertigo. These pushes in and out of the smoke, the flux in the post-plant, after-plant situations, trying to find those kills and avoid them all the same. So, about for Liquid here on the CT side. We know they can play it. They're damn good on it. This is very scary for Astralis, but at the same time, for this series to really go on, we want Liquid to take this map. This would mean, if we're looking at Inferno next map, surely we're going to favor Astralis. But look at this. Into the second round, bye for Astralis. They've invested in a couple of SMGs, being prudent here towards their economy, but they've already lost a player in exchange for some damage here on a Legion Nafly.
Yeah, the grenade called out the boost perfectly.
Do they want to run into Twist right now? This guy.
5-7. That headshot accuracy, good for the first bit of damage. He doesn't get himself more than one, but it does slow them off. Stewie with the CC. The spray somehow connects into Dupree. Zipnix able to get the second. Grim on a 2K already. This force buy from Team Liquid on the cusp of a round win. But Magisk, he's picked that bomb back up, turns his attention into Nafly, and absolutely clutches.
Damn, dude. That's why I wanted to compare Grim and Magisk. Like, the way that they aim, it's just so perfect. Across that horizontal plane, they have absolute precision. That is a beautiful 1v2, 45 degrees, and it's an easy readjustment. Grim goes down, headshot there, and that keeps Astralis alive. Critical round here to come back on the T side again. It's going to be a meal for them to get through this Liquid defense. These guys have shown how damn good they are on it.
Quick slap in the face, though, Astralis. That should wake them up. Team Liquid not slowing down despite the lesser weapons of the last one. Stewie's going to walk in the middle with the USP. He's dead. This is Astralis with an 8th. As long as they play their cards right. This Team Liquid don't even have a hand.
At the moment, Twist, he's just got the golden gun. No matter what it is, he's able to find a kill or two. So they should be avoiding him like the plague. Nafly also recently seems like one of the only good things and consistent features about Team Liquid. Magisk will spot one and find the man who boosted him as well. He said, "What rank you want to go to? Welcome to invite."
Ooh, just one for the added bonus. Rule number 7, double tap. Buy back in. Naf on the op. Now we saw Device's AWP serving as a very stellar backline for Astralis' defense. Let's see if Liquid can offer us something similar. We're going to get the Danes heading over to the A site early, as we expect, right? First, it's the sizing up process. Compare and contrast. And Elige, well, he finds tons of damage spamming that smoke. Enough so that Astralis back up.
You love to get these slow, tenuous defaults between these two teams, especially on the A ramp, because again, it's just protocols all the way through. When and where they use your utility, when they use their boost, where the spams come back from the Ts. This is where it gets the most interesting, and so far we've got the edge to Team Liquid. We had Elige put shots down range into the smoke on the corner as a player was trying to come up in the short health shelf. That was some good damage. Device, of course, not hopping here, and they'll find another boost, so good timing here for Liquid. Things are looking pretty solid. Magisk is making sure that nobody gets tricky, pushing at mid. And now Astralis have turned their attention to B. This is always a big risk, okay? Because if Liquid haven't used a lot of utility, you know they're going to feel very comfortable with the idea of retaking the site. Oh, but Twist, he gets mollied back and pushed in by Dupree. They weren't expecting this kind of pressure.
Dupree's then going to back up a bit, and that leaves Zipnix like a landmine. Damn, Team Liquid not ready. They're going to go ahead and walk away with the save. We saw this from Astralis in an early gun round in the first half.
See, listen, this is a round. If they had the 5v5 retake, they could talk about it. If they had a few more grenades, you know they would go for it. And this is an early round won by Liquid, but quickly a quick decision from Astralis caught Liquid off guard. They thought fully that their intention was going to be towards the A site, at least at that point of time in the round. But they had gotten in some information that told them otherwise. I guess they just, again, didn't expect the exact tempo from Astralis to pick that quickly.
They've got to absolutely hang on to all these guns. Astralis coming knocking. Grim will best Magisk, though, just to close this.
They can.
Astralis closing the gap. One round the difference.
Yeah, looking for the 5-0 start, right? Like, this is the... This is such a clean round. Look at how much money is still left in the hands after one rebuy for Astralis. Just pure opulence right now for the T side. And of course, after how strong that was, Liquid are going to be a little bit shaken up. Nafly trying to take that same position as Device to catch the B lurk, but a flash comes down. Smart stuff. Elige, he finds the exact same spot, spam onto the exact same player, but this time it results in a full-on death.
And Astralis walk away. He eats a grenade in the end, so Elige will be sitting on 61. But it's Team Liquid comfortably sitting on that A site. Now, immediately, Astralis going to do the exact same thing. Tuck tail, turn to the B site. And yet again, they're kind of doing this before Team Liquid have much of a hold in position. Twist, he puts that smoke down on the ramp itself, but he's burned out of his initial spot. A missed jump. A missed jump. Yeah, Dupree, he just slipped back down the staircase. That's going to mess around with the timing slightly. But still, dude, this utility from Astralis is so good at getting the players off of the bomb site, putting them into the post plant, and even giving a little bit of wiggle room for Glaive to walk this forward. But he loses half of his health to a single frag. And now we're going to see that grenade retake attempt. Grim just tucks his head. You can see Glaive with a little bit of frustration. Dupree backing up and Magisk delivering a couple of kills. Now it's Dupree's chance at more than just the first, but Zipnix in the clutch. Nafly pounding a shot through the wood. A warning shot, we'd say. Oh, Naf comes back for second servings. Team Liquid don't have time.
The kit was right there. He doesn't grab it, and he'll have to turn tail and leave. The trade's coming down. They barrel forward, having to go through every single one of Astralis' player like it's a training course. Everybody's posted up in a different position. They win each of their duels, but they take some losses in the process. Magisk and Zipix both get 2. Those are the key ones. Magisk is on the part of the site that should be the most pre-fireable. He's sitting on default, but he's still multi-frags. He's been very sharp. 21 kills so far this game, and that is a rough situation because Liquid, they had a man advantage. They had tons of utility, and we saw the protocols. Grim was even mollying back into their B stairs before the execute started. Dupree will take damage early over on the B site, but again, we look at the good start from Elige. We know if you're going to win this map, it has to start with B retakes. And right now, Astralis are finding success on the trickier site.
Gonna have to see if Twist continues to back up.
He's been getting shut down a little bit more. He's being made uncomfortable.
That he is. Dupree, Oh, it slips right into the corner of the stairs from beyond Dupree. But look at this, Astralis, they're going to back off and head back over towards A, hoping that the conditioning of the last couple of rounds would leave Team Liquid with a gap on the opposite side of the map. Xyp9x, he's going to find his spot in middle, just serve as an anchor here that Astralis can rotate around, and this is a big test for Grim, the newcomer of Liquid. He has slipped into Henny. He's just going to hold behind the column, and we're going to watch Astralis walk up. But Dupree's already keeping his vision this direction. Grim just goes ahead and takes the shot. You can't blame him. He wants one with him. He confirms that there's more presence there. But now my eyes fall back on Xyp9x. They have to. This late round mid moment that is perfect to get Stewie off of the B site and give Astralis just enough time to go sprinting back over. Xyp9x moves from the elevator into construction, and his team, like a swivel, swings back.
God, the number of things that have happened already this round, and it's not even over. Player drops off in front of him. Leash goes down. He'll turn it to a spray transfer as Xyp9x. He is definitely back.
100% on form. 3 kills from him, and I'm not just talking aim, I am talking patiently. This first kill, where that immediately draws everybody from a
twist, right? It becomes as hard as possible. Twist gets away in a couple of spots. He stands behind default, but then he throws the smoke down to the left. Glaive mollies behind it. Dupree's holding the other side, and Glaive spams the smoke. There's no way out of the round after he drops that smoke, and when they're getting that kill on Twist to start the round, the clear way into the rest of the round, they're specifically trying to target him, knowing he's alone on B.
He's getting bullied, battered, and bruised. Magisk, a master. 21-6 for the moment. Let's watch Team Liquid get aggressive. They've got little to lose in this one, and they're already making gains. Device scoped in. Oh, there's a player pinned behind the box. It's Naf, cleared out by Dupree. But at what cost? There's no weapons picked back up from Liquid. All they've done here is softened Astralis, but Twist comes in with a crucial kill, and Elish gets called out by Device on the patience. Now Twist, full health, armored AK. He is actually in a better position than both of his enemies. And they're going to try and contend for this A site. They just unload the utility. Use that fire. Make sure he can't come in. But now he's going to burn Dupree out of this position. The flash is fantastic. It's exactly what saves Dupree. What lets him go back from short and join Device at a further distance. If Twist taps bomb, they're going to start shooting through this. He should get the information he needs. There's the kill versus Dupree, but the question remains, where has Device gotten off to? And there's not a follow-up smoke here for Twist, so he absolutely needs the kill. And Tom Cruise, keeping it cool, sat back behind the sandbags, has Twist's walk away. An excellent attempt from Team Liquid.
God damn, it looks like Twist could have actually defused the bomb fully from that position on his second tap, but Device's composure was too much. He read the situation perfectly. Another clutch loss here for Team Liquid, and it comes close, and it's off of a really rough buy, but Astralis won a buy similar to that, which helped them leapfrog their score into the first half, excuse me. Man, this is okay. Attack timeout called for Liquid as they talk about things. As we get into the mid to late round, Astralis are being very tricky. It's hard to read what site they're trying to go to, and it feels like right now they're getting off too many punish kills. I think
it's map in November. Oh, there I am. No, I am on. It's all right. Don't worry. The moment has passed. Basically, Glaive. It is ratings about average. It seems.
Okay.
That's what I surmised from that. To be perfectly honest with you.
Okay. Yeah. Just average. Is that enough? That is the question.
Oh, luckily, Magisk is performing above and beyond.
Yeah. Fair play. That is a good point. That is a good point. So I wonder if, in Liquid's mind, it's like they have so many things set up to deal with the A stuff that was going to work out well. But right now, looks like alternate approaches here as the Astralis take down Naf early. It's a shot missed and then an instant punish once again. The headshot spam to slow him down and then the spam to follow to kill him. Glaive will take over middle control. Elige, is he going to clear this position? No. He might be able to get a kill before it, though. That's a good point. Here, I just credited myself for a good point. Glaive will also trade back. That's a good kill, I meant to say. And now it's a 2v3 as Twist will walk over into the B site. Magisk will find 2. Is he going to find a 3rd? No, Twist will clear him up. And he's been good in the clutch, good when he stays alive, good with space. But now he's got the biggest task ahead.
He's got Glaive just next to him. Twist silently slipping into it. Oh, but he drops the shot. However, he knows he's still between them. He can challenge. He decides to go back. Look at the hesitation here from Glaive. Doesn't know where to run to. Twist closing the distance, gets ahead of the flashbang, but Glaive gets ahead of the peak. And Device, well, he needs to back up as that bomb is undoubtedly going to be planted. Incendiary's going to land on the feet of Glaive, but because of the flashbangs from Twist, because he's worried about the cover fire, ooh, he finds him. Device thinking he could get cheeky, but it's Twist looking for the 4th frag in this round, looking to give Team Liquid their first CT victory. Glaive playing alongside of the ramp. And now it's that creep and crawl. He misses a follow-up chance. Twist taps bomb yet again, and Glaive, he's not going to come into it. He waits, and Twist takes his head. Team Liquid on the board for the first time in this second half. It's been a dry spell, but the winds of change breeze by.
So marvelously played. You love that Twist goes for the high ground in the 1v1 on top of default, just to fully get that bait out. Imagine how frustrated it'd be if he lost another 1v1 in the exact same plant position with another T toying with him.
Great point.
And he finally, he could be deflated at that point because again, he's been an ultra superstar. But that is why Astralis have just been focusing on him, trying to tilt him, punish him over and over again. It makes it harder for everyone else, but look, he lights up the server with some initial impact. That's a first kill on Dupree, and Stewie will complement it with a kill of his own. A 5v3, surely this is when Liquid get their first CT round.
Start stringing them together. Tied at 12.
Was it an 11? Was it 10-5 half?
10-5 half.
10-5,
Liquid,
okay.
Yeah, and Stewie, Twist just diffused.
Right.
His second attempt in that clutch on the A site. Grenade goes by Stewie 2K. You saw him trying to squeeze up next to that box because he actually goes from 12 health down to 2. Stu, lucky to be alive. But in what world could Astralis find their way back into this? What has to happen for Astralis to get an opening? Team Liquid have no reason to make an initiative.
It's a really good question. I think typically you would think about going back towards mid in a situation like this, but 40 seconds left. They're just recollecting the bomb, and Device is well posted here on the A ramp. The problem is no one's going to make a mistake, so they could follow up behind it. Device and Magisk will have to pull out some utility to assist with this, but at 25 seconds, they've got to make a decision, and it feels like they might just try to creep in. Device will set up his smoke here, and they'll go for a more standard post plant. It's not an ideal situation. Liquid should feel very comfortable.
Ooh, Nav. Yep, comfortable enough to catch a kill before the smoke completely pops. And Zip next, well, next to the box is going to go for the plant. Device gives cover. Just enough health for Zipnix, but now he's burnt. Let's see it, Device. He would need the ace. And seeing as how I'm watching him walk down ramp, I think he just wants to get away. This is it. A 12th round for Team Liquid. They're going to find 2 CT rounds back to back and tie this game at 12.
Okay. Now we're in business. Off of the clutch from Twist. Again, when he's staying alive, he's having such incredible impact. Critical kills at every turn. And now that Astralis have started to stray away from dueling him early, or they're starting to lose their duels early, which might be an important thing, they also are starting to lose simultaneously. So will Liquid tap into this and try to protect Elige at all costs, or are they going to just have him not take early fights, or do they want to just let him run it because he's got a bone to pick? That's the question.
The Magician, that was Twist's 9th 1 versus 2 against Astralis and his first against them on Vertigo.
Could have been 2. Could have had 2 clutches against them on Vertigo already this game. Those back-to-back moments.
Obviously not an easy team to win clutches against, but when it matters the most, he grabs it. And look at the money, actually. This is potentially Liquid just taking a round. Device, how much impact can he have with an AWP? I mean, I don't want to underestimate him, but at the same time, here on the T side, with just some pistoling pawns working the map, it's not going to be easy to set him up.
See if the king can reign supreme. Oh, Grim.
A chance.
Yeah.
But Grim, like an apparition, fades back.
Dodges that one-op shot.
Off the cover of the smoke, and Magus will try to make progress off of Device's strong lines of sight. Still wide open, and Elige, he's just been trying to protect this. An interesting spot for him that he feels like he's very obsessed with this one corner, and it's resulted in some duels. Here it's just some information, but it comes at a cost.
Grim's gonna lay down the incendiary. Frag grenade could be on the money. Nope. Negligible. Stewie's gonna take that front line from Elige, but we've already got the T's pretty close on this bomb site. Half health gone for a couple of them. The bomb gets thrown open. That's a big moment. Grim, he turns his attention away. Zipnik's able to slip in with the MAC-10, and he's gonna prioritize plant. They can't find the spam damage, and he's just gonna be able to retreat back around towards the short shelf. There's an M4 now over on Magus because Grim dies. Remember, Elige already low, and a single smoke for what remains of Team Liquid. They've got a couple flashbangs, but the smoke goes out first and foremost. Device hitting his second shot. As that one plumes, this would be the second round for Astralis where one op makes the difference, unless Twist can take his second clutch, but Device has something to say about it. 3 kills on the play, 13 rounds for Astralis.
He pops up like Mario out of a pipe to get that last one, and that is just the cherry on top. An incredible round for Device. I absolutely doubted that he'd be able to have the impact here, but look at the CTs so far back. This is a shooting range for a Device, and here he is here to train. That is crazy that they're able to pull this back. Actually shocked at the moment. You know, Device doesn't have as many. Honestly, Magisk ADR is way higher than Device, but at this moment I feel like Device has had some extremely critical rounds with his op in both halves. Even when he was only on 12, now he's damn near acing to win rounds.
The biggest counterpart, of course, is Twists. But in terms of clutches, Zipnix has his number. And that one's not a clutch, but another single op buy that turns into a round win.
Yeah, Twist says if this damn creature didn't come back, I'd be the clutch god. We are wrapping up now. Round 26, 13-12, buy versus buy. And Naf, is he going to be the focal point? The counter may be opping himself to make up for the fact that there are concessions on some of these guns for the CG side. While Astralis, they might make this difficult, putting some pressure here. They're going to spot a sandbags play, and Elige tries to give out a free haircut, but nobody wants one. They'll start to peel back off the A ramp. And it's a total stalemate, man. I really do appreciate here that Astralis, they've done so much across all parts of the map right now that Liquid are pretty uncomfortable at pushing things. They've gone back into a mode of just trying to re-aggress on the A ramp when possible. And Elige, he actually baited him. They baited him into coming forward, and he has to just run because they are so out of utility. It is Twist with the only smoke on the round, and of course, he's the player on the other side of the map.
And contrast that to Astralis. They're just going to have to slip 2 players onto short. That's what Liquid are banking on here. But Glaive, he gets shut down by the MP9 of Grim. Elige, incredibly low. Grim with a second, a third! Just the SMG from Grim, and he may have done it all. Everything they needed. Grim is inside of the site. His first matchup versus Astralis, as they start to fizzle out, he puts his foot down. And Device, well, let's see what he's made of. 10 seconds, bomb ahead of him. If he pops Stewie right here, that would be all he needs to at least perhaps get plant, but it takes too much time. Stewie burns the clock, and Grim burns Astralis. We are all tied up again.
And an individual play when they needed it the most with the worst gun on the round on the CT side. Grim, he holds the line here. This is unreal with an MP9 of all guns. He pushes through. Oh my goodness, he actually turns that into basically a spray transfer with a huge risk coming through the smoke. That is the kind of liberty you need him to take, but not something you can teach him to. That's the maturity. That's the maturity that makes sense when we look at Grim as a new player, but then also contrast that with his outstanding stats so far here in Europe. 20 kills in the game, and keeping Liquid in it as well.
Landed though. The key piece of the last round is wounded early.
Liquid always will have one thing, and that's the individuals to fall back on. If there's one thing they've gained in their latest roster change, it is a firepower upgrade. And on the CT side, that's when these different pieces can shine. Strategically right now, it feels like Astralis are having their way with Liquid. Liquid are scared to push. They're losing most of their rounds here in the second half.
That boost though, man, that could actually call out what Astralis are about to do. They're waiting for this smoke to fade so they can walk up, and this isn't the same boost that we've seen called out by Wallbangs. This could be the perfect moment. Look how many players are walking up. What sort of trigger discipline does he play? But he's not even given the chance. The Incendiary denies what could have been a round-winning moment. Good thing for Team Liquid, they still have other things to fall back on. We've got Stewie down in the depths of the B site, trying to find a little bit of timing. However, the flashbangs, despite the best efforts of Liquid to try and hold on to the front side of this site, the utility from Astralis is too intimidating. They give it up. And Dupree, he's going to try to find that plant on the corner of the site. It's being covered. A 5v5 post plant with a 14th round on the line for both of these teams. Stewie still sitting down here. Dupree's walking back, maybe coming to clear it. This could be a chance for Stewie, but he needs to make sure he doesn't give up the kill. Now that he has, this is perfect for Astralis. So good! 4 frags across the kill feed in an instant. And Alish has only 36 health to contest this. Astralis intimidating Liquid with utility and liquidating Liquid with their talents.
Incredibly played. I mean, this is just the straight-on hold. There's no utility in this moment for Liquid, so instead they just try to replace their utility with pure bodies, moving through the site as a pack and getting mowed down all the same. It comes a lot down, what looks like it's supposed to come a lot down to Stewie and Dupree on the flank, but Dupree holds the better angle. This is Liquid having to save. And again, in what could, it's only map 1, but it's such an important map here for Liquid to win. Inferno, I mean, you'd assume Liquid can't do it. We'll see if that's going to be the case, but their hearts are set on winning this one first. This would take the edge off in a big way. They're not necessarily a rough start, but since we've gotten onto the T side, it's just been majority them. That's all we've talked about. Their strategies, their comeuppance in terms of individual performances. Even though Glaive is still struggling a little bit, everybody else is making up for it. Now Grim, yeah, he's in a big one. Pretty interesting position. He'll stay alive as well. Can't grab the gun. And Nafly also gets a kill. He's up at mid. Did he upgrade as well, or is he still on the pistol? It's both 3 on 4, but there's everybody here on the A site.
This would be such a territory grab from Liquid, but Glaive looks like he's going to solve the issue. What worked out well at the hands of the P250 starts to fizzle out. Nafly does now have an AK, but Stewie just the UST, and he gets taken down by Glaive, who saved the day with a 4K versus these pesky pistols. Team Liquid, they created a chance out of thin air, and they had their chances after that first half. But now, next round, the 2 map points left here on Vertigo are going to spell the difference between what could have been an incredibly good start to an incredibly good series with a second map question mark that just leaves us thinking Astralis may have solved it.
Definitely. Now this will come down to what, Liquid want to try. If they want to try to go standard again, are they going to rely on some heroic play by just one of their players, or are they going to try to take the round into their own hands and take a risk early on? This is going to be a true test for them. I think they can feel the magnitude of the situation at the moment, being able to show that they can win Vertigo, being able to win their first map in a year versus Astralis, and to do it with a new lineup. I mean, there's so much pride on the line here, on top of just completely changing the face of the best of 3 in terms of their odds. So what will they do? What's the call going to be? Stewie, he's picked up the op this time around. And it looks like the B ramp is of interest. He's going to hold on to this angle. There's no push just yet. Does he go farther down is the question. And does anything interesting happen from Astralis? They are waiting for this. So the 2-op adjustment as well.
Stewie's dodging flashbangs, waiting for this peek, but obviously his head is on a platter. If Dupree's got the better of the aim, they cross off the flash. Stewie, he's going to back up. Again, we have another moment where if Astralis come into this B site, there is no real forward position for Liquid. And we have seen how the utility flusters them, how it counters out their initial spots and pushes them into the back line. And from that back line, we see Astralis win round after round. Dupree, he's going to serve as an anchor as Stewie gets all the closer.
Oh my God! He didn't really. He thinks he cleared it out, and
So
he'll walk back. He'll check both sides, but it's a matter of timing. This doesn't mean that he can forfeit the site at all. But they're maybe assuming now it's going to be the A site. Yeah.
Dupree, he has made this call. He knows that Team Liquid think this is clear. Not the case. Stewie has to deliver, and he gets so completely countered out by utility. Fire at his feet, down to 50. Flash in his face. He hits the ground. And Astralis, they may have not hit the ground running, but they have absolutely clawed this back after a 5-10 first half. Let's see if they can close in the 4 versus 4. We've got Liquid starting to crank the heat, but Magis, well, he's down now too. It's Grim to deliver another headshot. Device lands the op. He has 15 health. Not ideal. 3 CTs coming into him, closing the distance. Naf combat opping, but Device to the deagle. Dupree, he tries to spam bomb, but Liquid, they steal it. Twist steals the defuse, and we go the distance. Round 30 needed.
That's all they needed to stick that bomb and hope the spam doesn't come in. It could have been an absolute travesty for Team Liquid having such a successful couple of entry kills on that retake. Astralis, they come through with the simple protocols, literally 2 flashes in that round to get the stairs control outside of B main to push Stewie back, and then once they're in there, get Stewie the false positive after he tries to clear out information and doesn't find Dupree, and then Dupree using that information against him without shooting back. That's where you'd think it'd get very scary, but the 5v5 retake and a B retake, these are a couple of things Liquid have not been able to do so far this game.
We've gone 6 rounds back and forth, no consecutive round wins.
Nafly and Stewie, they only have MP9s once again.
And Grim's gonna get tested. In a 4 versus 5. His first series versus Astralis. He takes down a single player, but they get him right back, and Elige gets clapped by Zipnix. That 90-degree flick shot into his head. Astralis absolutely tested. And this one's not over just yet, but it's going to take something special. And Stewie, he's walking right into Zipnix, who already has 2 kills on the round. Why not make it a 3rd? Twists, the star for Liquid. Alongside Grim, the star we know can shine so damn bright. At least cuts 1 player out of the situation. He's got 10 bullets in the magazine. That's going to slow him down. He has to have the reload. Bomb already a quarter of the way gone. He's going to throw down his smoke first. Still has not reloaded. Desperation begins to sink in. If he tries to stick this defuse, it's not going to work out. He emerges and he dies. Zipnix, the absolute difference maker at the end of this 30th round. 4 kills to secure map 1 for Astralis. I mean, damn. 7 rounds in a row to start that T-side from Astralis.
And every kill as impressive as the last positionally. Who better to close to make this storyline as interesting as possible than Zipnix?
Well, should we talk about the story after the break?
Sure.
Why not? Stick with us.
nothing. I'm gonna take what's mine. I'm gonna take what's mine. Don't stand in my way. young, we had no fear. The world was our playground. Our feet never touched the ground. When we were young, we ran wild. We said that we'd never lose track of forever. Let's go somewhere where we know we can be heroes for just one day. So let's fly higher and higher. We'll burn with desire. We'll touch the sun. Remember when we jumped right in? There's no second chances. We'll rise from the ashes. Let's go somewhere where we know we can be heroes for just one day. So let's fly higher and higher. We'll burn with desire. We'll touch the sun. Let's go somewhere where we know we can be heroes for just one day. So let's fly higher and higher. We'll burn with desire. I won't waste another one.
Warning, warning, this is not a test. Source 2 is on the horizon. I repeat, Source 2 is on the horizon.
He's kidding. It's not coming.
But map 2 is. I can guarantee you a second map. That's absolutely truthful. We've got Astralis and Team Liquid back in the server, a little delayed. Gaben's playing with our heartstrings. I kind of like it.
I don't. I hate it. I hate it so much, but I do like this can get my mind off things. Astralis versus Team Liquid after a meaty Vertigo. I mean, that was a map that was one of the hardest maps I feel like I've ever had to follow in terms of how much there was to talk about. There just wasn't enough time live. But now we move on to Inferno, and it's a whole new set of storylines here. Liquid trying to solve their Inferno issues. Astralis clearly going to be picking this map as a punish to Liquid's problems, and here at least Liquid an opening kill on CT side, and it's Grim and Stewie on the B side. This is another thing we've got to talk about. What have Liquid changed, and how much better will they play versus Astralis when they specifically have so much more experience versus this team?
Trial by fire for poor Grim. He's got the kit this round. 2 frag grenades between Stewie and Grim as well, so maybe if they're looking to go down on this B site, they go down with some damage.
I think Grim has like a 22 or 23 kill average in all of his maps since getting into Europe. I think it's actually that high. Something absolutely ridiculous. Frankie, can I send you on a mission?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Let's see if it's something like that. Because coming into this event, it was, I think, 22. And I think since then, he's still been doing nothing but very consistent fragging.
He's going to get mollied off the coffin. Smoke grenade goes real deep. And Stewie tries tracking a couple of players here. He's going to think about when to throw the grenade with Grim. Huge risk, actually. Both those players with their... Both
good night.
Players with the frags out, and Glaive puts the shots right through. That's a call out.
100% that's a read. That was right when the bomb gets tapped. This is Liquid scared now. Astralis are pissed. Reading the situation perfectly. Double headshot, man.
Let's see it. Let's see if they can just lock on in the post plant. Zipnik's going to find himself a headshot. It's only Twist over on Coffins. They confirm it. He's going to get 3-man peeked. And if you are Stewie and Grim, you're thinking to yourself, maybe you could take down Astralis on Inferno, and Glaive has already reminded you that he is burrowed into your brain like a little worm, because that...
I'm taking my jacket off.
...is nasty.
That is just ridiculous. If Astralis come into this match with this level of preparation, hopefully Liquid gave him the credence and respect to do the same thing and to go to that next level, because that's what they're going to need to be able to beat Astralis today, and you better believe they knew that Inferno was coming. That is some next level shit.
So good. Oh, it's only the first round. Somebody get me a bigger spoon. Of course, we'll have to wait to see what Liquid really have in store. Forced by this round, Naf the only player to keep some money in his pocket. Hump on Stewie 2K. Astralis slowly crawling to the top of Banana, not looking to let Liquid force their way back onto the scoreboard early.
Bit of peace and quiet before the terror ensues. An opening here for Zipix and a lean towards B. Again, this combo is what we always talk about. Grim and Stewie, best friends, playing sites together. Astralis with a brand new challenge in the form of Grim.
Device emptying up all the magazines. Elige, let's see it. He's on short shelf completely alone. First player tries to offset him by jumping into the crosshair. Glaive does die to it. And then Twist gets the shot into Pit. Go fishing. And we are right back into the evened 3v3. Good morning, Russell.
God damn. Man, the scariest part is like with the game. Oh, okay, Stewie. He's going to light it up a little bit too. He's got a UMP in his hands. Two players must die. Dupree's only got a Mac 10. He is full blind.
Device coming back in around from the boiler. Stewie's going to be ahead of this a little bit. Grim, he gets on top of the defuse. There's no kit on the play. Grim's head completely exposed. Stewie, he was supposed to cover him. And instead, Grim gets executed. This should have been Liquid's round. But Grim's noggin, prime for the pop-in. At Astralis, take a second.
Oh, Device saves right there. He'll come back into the site. I don't know if there's a better gun to get, but yeah, that is a round. They had that covered. You even have the deep diffuse here by Grim, but nobody is watching lane. And Device, I mean, he quietly steps in and sets up this headshot. That should not be possible.
Nobody's watching it.
Yeah, that's such a huge mistake. Not one you can make. What an opening from Liquid into the rounds.
Coach Lau.
Yeah.
Apologies for interrupting. I've returned from my mission.
Sure.
Where I used the calculator on my phone to conclude that 18.3 is the average.
18.3, okay.
It's taking a bit of a hit.
Yeah, how many maps are we looking at?
So we're looking at from Mad Lions onwards, so 11 maps.
11 maps.
Yeah,
okay.
Mad Lions, that was 26th of November.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's still a pretty...
Good work, soldier.
Yeah, it's a pretty high average. In general, again, his first trip to Europe. And it's just gotten better and better. Definitely not the problem at all in any of the maps that we've seen so far. Maybe a bit of discomfort and some moves that maybe the team wouldn't have approved of, but can make up for it with some other impact and is clearly learning and developing as he goes. Well, here is an excavated B site. No one's here to sit down and wait. And now how terrified are Grim and Stu to throw these grenades immediately running out after they can't line them up well.
No. I mean, they do no damage.
Yeah, that's conditioning, right? That's what conditioning is. Look how scared they are after one round where Glaive gets in front of a smoke and spams them through it.
Now he's going to try to get at least one here inside of the construction, but Magisk is making money. And Twist, who's the only player with the armored ump this round, will find nothing for it. Astralis, 3 rounds in a row to start off this T side.
I fear a very lopsided scoreline coming in based on Astralis now looking a bit more warmed up. Definitely looked very off at first on Vertigo. But yeah, that's a game plan. There were so many things that looked so good. It was such a close match too, which is the most curious part of all. But yeah, we'll have to reset here on Inferno and take it round by round. And again, see what Liquid have brought. Because if they haven't brought anything, then why are we here? They know that Astralis are going to give them some credit and work hard to find new ways to find openings. So Stewie will go into the double op setup along with Nafly. They've been doing this quite often now. And this time it's come quite early. Strong gun to have over on the B site. But what it demands of you is knowing when to go in for more, when to take these aggressive peeks. Stewie holding on to an angle. Looks like he's going to be offered up a shot, and he'll miss it. Device takes him out. Rifle v op, leaving Grim all alone. And they know with the op here, this isn't going to be a bait, but they still don't want to run through the smoke. Elite will try to find one back. He does.
Great recovery. Yeah. Is it enough? Dupree comes sniffing out from Boiler. There is no commitment yet from Astralis on that B side either, but they have left Device in the corner.
Yeah, they've got him scared. They refresh Stewie's position with the op of Nafly. And one player here to sell a fake. Moto Smoke comes out. You can see the intentions for Astralis are clear. They're wrapping on the A site, but the bomb is left all the way back in spawn. That means their number 5 man isn't here to commit.
Yep.
Or they're going to grab the bomb with Dupree. He's going to come back to mid. They've got 35 seconds, enough time to get away with this, and Liquid have no idea.
They are so incredibly separated in the 2 versus 2. Let's see what Naf and Grim can deliver.
They're checking into CT spawn. 20 seconds left. No, they're coming back to A.
All right, questions now being answered. But look, Ali, she's caught in the mid-rotation. Oh, not only had Astralis fooled me, they fully fooled Team Liquid.
Was that them waiting to find out where Nafly was? And how did they know that he had rotated out? Because they immediately picked the A site. And of course, if there's 2 in B, 2 in A is the weaker site. Nafly rotated early. Grim will hit his shot. And this is the problem for Team Liquid over on Banana, is that they couldn't figure it out ever between Grim and Stewie. And it is just a really difficult part of the map, the most important part of the map, hands down, whether it's CT or T side. But their only keys to success is when they would go light on A site, when they would bring Elige over, he'd help out, they'd always score a round or two, but it was always an adjustment that came too late, and it wasn't something they could do all the time. Because the problem of playing the 3B setup early is that as soon as Astralis see that they start trying it, they're going to start exploding mid, and they're going to start taking over Arch really quickly. And that's what Liquid have to be careful about. If anybody's wondering why you wouldn't just, well, if this is what works, why don't you just do it? It's because mid becomes way too weak at that point, and this is constant gamble on information and conditioning that plays into it that's going to scare you into making those decisions.
Splitting them down the middle for a 4th one. This is a flying start for Astralis. Team Liquid just looking to get outbrained for the time being. Alish throwing the Molotov off of the skybox. Stewie with the boost misses his chance as he burns down to 44 HP. So yet again, Team Liquid not able to find an early opening.
Did that molly spread to the top of the wall, or was he over top of the molly in front of the wall that burned him?
He must
go that high.
I don't know.
No.
It looked like he was standing very far forward, but
yeah, I'm kind of surprised about that. Definitely, see, like those are the spots where you almost have to get your kill. You have a really good opportunity, and there, it can be too late. But we'll see what happens. We've got top mid and Banana control this early for Astralis. There is no question right now. Liquid need to make a play to get some information back somewhere.
Sitting on the back of their feet and waiting for Astralis to make their moves is not what's going to get them onto the scoreboard. So you're dead on, Mohan. They've got to find information. They've got to find a peak. They've got to find a timing. Because look at this. They just let Astralis get back further into the comfort zone. I mean, how desperate is this B-hold if it's just on Grim within New Box and Stewie over on Dark Corner? You know these incendiaries are going to come burning you out of position, but Grim, he's actually able to hold his in Liege. While he peeks through that smoke, he finds a good bit of information. Device able to get Stewie 2K off of the op. It is Grim alone, and he manages to spray from the FAMAS. He's being pressured, and he stops the bomb. Grim back into the cover. Oh! 3rd kill for Grim. He's looking for the 4th, but it's Zipnik's in the clutch, and he still has 10 seconds left. He's onto the AK. Naf keeping him pinned in and pinned down. Grim goes big.
That's what they need. FAMAS 2K into a USP meltdown. 3 headshots right away. This is a pretty nasty rifle control. It's not every day that you could stop Dupree on a rampage across a site like that, and to do it with the FAMAS is a pretty big ask, but Grim delivers. And they use Elige as a martyr. He comes through the spawn. They can afford that because they've still got 2 players in the site. So not only does he get the kill, but he allows his teammates to be on full alert for the immediate rush. He gets a kill, he gets traded out, and then of course it comes down to a missed shot on the off in the back of the site, but again, Grim makes up for it. And at least we see Liquid responding to the pressure a little bit, immediately taking back in control and trusting themselves. A smoke comes down at Arch, but they've already put Naf in place to see it. And that's why the rotation was there early.
They're going to flash into Naf. Elige looks to lay down the smoke, but there's the challenge from Boiler, turned away by Twists. 3 players at the A site worked out well. We're going to watch this B site get tested yet again. Smoke being laid down from Grim. Stewie, can he deliver? because Grim's currently smoked off, but he's using his utility to try and keep them away from this. Glaive will go down at the hands of Stewie, who then falls back into the depths of the bomb site, but here comes Astralis, wasting no time to run in. Stewie's position off of the flash. He goes for the third player in from Astralis. Grim with 1 kill as he emerges through the smoke, but it's Magisk putting on the hurt. Astralis, they'll find their bomb plant. We still have the 2v2.
They're coming in hot up Banana, readying their nades already. It's not going to be a secret to Astralis where they're coming from, but they don't want to give them time to get set up, and the continuation flashes are perfect.
Device, though, he has their back turned, and they line up. He shaves Naf off of the play. He's got 58 health left over. We saw Twists with some sick clutches on Vertigo, but he's already got no gun out, and that is an easy pickup for Device.
Masterfully played in the 1v2. A nice round here from Astralis, making that last-minute adjustment to get into the B site, but there are a couple of flubs. Stewie coming out too wide for that next kill. Twist, I think, who's the first rotator in CT spawn, comes in an awkward moment as well while the smoke comes up, or it's a Liege, excuse me. And this is a little bit of mouse ports, okay, with what we see from Astralis. They make the fast adjustment to go B on that in-between moment where the rotation isn't quite there yet. It makes the 4-player setup, even though they lost the opening kill, just a little bit stronger.
Stewie didn't have a single multi-kill round on Vertigo, the only player to not have one.
Yeah.
It's quite mean, Elliot.
This is why I actually think it should just be an adjustment of roles. I really have a hard time talking about this team and arguing that talent is the issue. It just can't, to me, it just doesn't make sense because they stand above many other top teams with just 4 players alone. And I think that the thing is that some of their setups could maybe use adjusting. Like if we had Grim and a Liege, I feel like Grim and a Liege over on the B site, it's a better formulation, in my opinion, but what's my opinion? Anyways, we got Device to take some damage and ends up going down. Magisk will trade out Twist.
A peaks are also both shut down, so it is just Stewie. No multi-kills for Stewie. That's actually a big stat to know coming into this next one, because if they are just going to be iced out and isolated on the B site round after round, Grim needs somebody else to deliver. We saw his multi-kill, Frankie. That was a huge one from Newbox.
I just don't understand why Liquid didn't make the adjustment to the bomb site after their match against Mouse, because we saw Elige towards the end of their CT half go over to B to support.
Yeah.
So I'm so surprised that they didn't just make the decision to go with that going forward.
Good point, but they tend to do it, I think, a little bit later, right? It's clear that they still want this to work at the start of the CT side. We're 7 rounds deep. We'll see if we get there, but I think we should.
We've got a different look here. Fast cross up mid. Nafly, I don't even know if he spots one. Takes an empty shot. Doesn't hit a thing. Elige moves into position. He is a great rotator, but will he have an opponent to fight? Smoke goes up in his face. He'll run through it. Glaive will spam him down. Stewie at the bottom of mid. This is good control from the CTs.
Yeah, he's got to keep his head down, though. If he dies, then all of a sudden their evacuation plan is wide open, and he's getting pressured. Grim able to find that kill towards Arch. Sure enough, Stewie goes down. Minute on the clock, and you see Grim now. His priority is to get back over to that B site. It peels a player off of A. Twist, instead of just sulking into the bomb site, decides to get aggressive, and now that he's one step closer to Dupree, he almost gets his kill, but almost not good enough. Here comes the peek from Balkan. Twist, he turns himself around, giving cover to Naf, who only has 1 frag so far on Inferno. Still ample time for Astralis to come at this from a different angle. But the problem for them is Dupree, 12 health. I think Device is going to have to go absolutely above and beyond. And Dupree's going to try to sell this B rotation. He sees Grim. Grim sees him. Oh, they exchange. And had Device killed Twist, then that's an A plant. But now that Dupree is the last man standing, we've got Liquid with a second round.
It looked a little bit hairy, but Twist does a key play for information, walking back to mid, finds that timing. But whether or not he hits the shot, he sees one walking into halls, and he hears another. So there's a good chance for his team to be set up. And of course, Dupree with such low HP cannot contribute to this round any longer. So he's going to hop on a bike and drive into the next round. It's still like a really tough situation for Liquid, but here they find a way to get to the bottom of mid, and while Astralis are really focusing on that top hit, mid hit, Liquid do punish. So I think this is a round where they go for bottom B control early, and then it results in a big flank, but I'm not exactly sure. Either way, I think you've got to have a nice balance between really fighting hard for Banana and not. You know, here's a round where you've got full utility on the CTs, so you think you're going to expend some of it to make sure that you establish control. How much they fight is another question.
Stewie takes the boost. That should give him vision deep, but not onto Device. Molotov's going to call out the position. Glaive just flirting with the angle. Magus gives the cover. That is great damage off of the grenade. You can see Astralis, some of their players playing low HP. Device still trying to challenge this. Grim shaves him to 28 health. Device just kind of standing out in no man's land for even just a moment. Gives Team Liquid a good chance at softening up what is still a man advantage for the T side. And they've got the defensive players split. Grim's going to get flashed around these corners, but Device serving as an anchor here behind the logs. So if Grim continues on and doesn't clear his corners, he is dead to right. And just like that, Astralis have options.
Oh, that's an open up right there. That's how the round changes. Like, sometimes you talk about strategy. Here is just following the frags, like, simple for them, right? Astralis so low on HP, definitely scared up until that very moment. But it looked like Liquid were scareder, even though they didn't realize how much damage they did. I guarantee you, if Liquid had seen the health bars that we see, we don't have a push like that come out so early. It was really Astralis on the back foot and Liquid offering them up an opportunity.
Zipnik's just going to keep applying that pressure, keep killing the members of Liquid. Last man's going to be Twist. He wants to just keep this up. I don't know if they're going to let him have it. Team Liquid about to be bottomed out economically. Astralis, good recovery. I think you're dead on, Mo. If they only knew how close these players were to death. Twist was on a tear. 3 kills, 2 of which with that op, but in the end he loses it. Still taking something away from Astralis as they just gather more and more rounds.
Because you know you're going to take so much damage running into the A site, and they don't have the HP to work with, but they had to make a decision at the same time. So just smart for Astralis to think on to later in the round in case things change up. They get a lucky entry on the A, maybe they want to go back, but that rotation just, or the push down B, it felt like came so quickly. Hard pressed to believe that Astralis would have survived a lane hit in that moment, but again, Liquid did not know, and there's not really any way they could know. However, now Zipex is going to just fight for information quickly. He'll get a first kill, get some damage off on Grim, but it is the full save. As you mentioned, the economy on the CT side is devastated.
Yeah, they had a little bit to play with, hence why Naf's got a scout still. But check this out, wasting no time to throw Twist down the apartments, and Elige, he's going to grab their attention. This is audio for Twist, easy. Now that they have that AK, they've got a little more to work with, but Magisk finding Elige as he continued to peek, maybe looking to serve as a distraction so Twist could get back into the action with that rifle. Twist is still between the T's, but he looks away at the worst possible moment. That is a matter of timing for Glaive. Imagine if Twist is able to cheat up Banana. It's not the case. Every other kill comes through for Astralis. This T side with no sign of stopping.
They're everywhere. They're prescient. They're behind you. They're in front of you. They're waiting for you. It's the Astralis effect, really. Making it feel like they've got 6 players in a round instead of 5. That is what's really hard to deal with. But, of course, it is around that Liquid took many concessions in. They were looking to save. They've got everything they need now, including the single op on Naf. Stewie's not found impact opping down B, so it's maybe not even worthwhile in terms of the investment. But here, they reinforce. They've got a player in the back on top of the 2 throwing artillery down Banana, and goddamn, is it good. They get so much damage off. Magisk, he's burnt to a crisp, and Stewie is still here peeking.
Oh, but that's going to cost him. Zipnik's through the smoke, and Grim dishes damage back the other direction. Oh, ouch, fire hurts, and Device.
Oh, Jesus.
He bites. He's going to go ahead and keep trying to charge headstrong into this B site. Let's see if Grim can lock it down from the top of Orange. Finds the first one, a little bit sectioned off from the group. And Zipnik's, because he's low HP with Device, they don't want to go charging into this, but they lose their player on the opposite side. So now their secondary option seems shut down. Twist's just going to anchor on this A site. This should absolutely be around for Liquid. It would take the most killer of accuracy.
I feel like Twist is playing some of the most composed CS across the 2 maps so far. Here, another round in the 3v3 where he gets the prime opening, pushes them into the bad site. Good time for Grim to shine, really. Elige can just shoot to get them to turn around, and Grim can shoot afterwards. But there's a lot that can go well here for Team Liquid.
Yeah, they heard that attempted jump up. Device does hit that headshot. Elige, he's playing a little bit scared, but he snaps it up into Zipnik's. And now Device is going to have to close it, but what goes around comes around. Elige spamming smoke at the perfect time takes Liquid to a 3rd.
Well, that's something. That's definitely a little bit better here. We have a potential for a buy. I think they're going to try to put one together. There might be one player on just a Tech 9 and full nades or something. Here's the critical one, of course. So Lige spots Zipic at the very final moment before that smoke blooms and saves himself and saves his team. But again, want to draw attention to Twist and his key frags in these 3v3s.
Tried to find timing on that grenade, but Dupree was already inside of the balcony room. Naf looking for his second kill of the map, will find it, but that's all he gets. Continuation straight from Lige. 3 kills at the top of middle. Wonderful for Team Liquid. That's the kind of multi-frag potential that we need to see from these CTs, or else Astralis are going to keep gobbling up rounds where they already have 8.
Nothing more to say about this round, right? When you have a round like that from Lige, individually speaking. Well, Device, he has got a target. He wants to win this duel versus Grim, all the way in the back of the site. Will he grab it? That's the question. No, he won't. Grim will win that too. 4 alive for Team Liquid as Lige lays the smackdown. 3K spray down, holding down Arch, and Astralis come through, just a pocket strat, right? Come through with the mid pop to see if the CTs are sleeping, but that isn't the case. Lige, he's got his eyes peeled, wide awake.
Just Glocks here for Astralis. 1 deagle on the play. And of course it's in the hands of Device. He is having an excellent first half. 16 kills and 7 deaths. Little to lose in this one. Let's see him unleashed. If he even gets a chance. So far, Team Liquid, I think, yeah. They're using this Glock round as a chance to get back a little confidence, all right?
Absolutely.
Disrespecting their opponents.
And hey, you play a fast round like this, you don't use grenades, you don't get caught on rotations, you get some confidence as you're talking about, and you save the viewers from having to watch a slow eco round, which is never any fun. Slow Glock round at that. So they're coming back into this half, and the game does become a little bit more interesting, for sure. Of course, it's still going to be a difficult game, and Astralis have nearly met their quota already in this half. But, of course, I love to give credit to the team who win some of the later rounds. They win on adjustments, and I think that's really nice for your confidence. And, of course, this is elimination for Liquid at DreamHack Masters if they lose this map right here. Astralis are halfway there. And I'm sure they've still got some stuff left in the bank. In the tank bank? The bank of the tank.
Maybe your bank is a literal tank.
I have a tank account.
That sounds safe. Grim, not so safe on the top of Orange. Anticipated maybe a little utility pressure, but then all of a sudden they're gone. Magisk will catch his teammate, though. Stewie. His head's been popped. And Grim sets up shop behind second Orange, just trying to play this crossfire alongside Naf, but the smoke's going to block off the CT side of it. Let's see it, Grim. He's already provided a multi-kill from this position. Device puts the fire at his feet and then hits him in the head. Naf not yet able to add anything to the tally, and once this smoke fades, he's done for. The flashbang that goes over the top is enough to get Naf back a little bit, but he needs a reload, and he's going to get chased down by Device, offering himself over. Bomb is planted in the 2v4. Team Liquid have to contemplate the save. They don't have that much money. Don't get me wrong, the buys are going to come in, but they know the chances of winning this so slim.
Let's get our attention on the minimap. You know, this is another very standard state of affairs here. Top banana control into low damage from the CTs into a B-exec, and B-execs are hard to stop. They rely on Grim to go huge from the quad, and it's a spot you can play multiple times in a half, and it doesn't mean you're a one-trick pony. It's just such a useful spot to play with the correct grenades to support. It has a lot of value. It's hard to spam, but you still, you know, eventually that player is not going to be successful sometimes, and if he's not, that can also be the round. So here's the first shot to open it up, and there's the site completely cracked open like a walnut. They'll push back into spawn, and credit to Device, he's always been there, right place, right time, at catching players off guard.
Molly goes down deep, triple grenade into Nafly. Oh my god, and Stewie, he's just trying to stretch his arms
That
out.
kill feed right there, that's how you that's how you wrap this half up in a nutshell. Like, that is exactly it. Just dying
instantly.
Just dying instantly, dying without knowing what's going on. Maybe realizing what's ahead but still losing. Like, that is symbolic.
Astralis completely smoking out Liquid at this point. Device 19 kills and 9 deaths, about to get a 20th as Elige walks right into him. How about a 21st for Twists, who has provided something to talk about for Liquid, but it's just far too little. This T-side from Astralis dismantled Liquid. We knew we were going to have some struggles for Team Liquid once they hit Inferno. Vertigo was their chance to shine. And now that pain train pulls into the station. Twists in no man's land. Molly, flash, and he attempts to flash back. They are showing him nothing other than utility. And even though he tries his damnedest, it's another Astralis win. Will Liquid get eliminated in this following half? Well, join us after the break.
Down, 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 you can knock me down, but I will get up fighting, ain't no tapping out. Hit me with another, and I won't make a sound, 'cause I keep getting stronger with every single round.
Another 10-5 in the first half of this series, but it's Astralis with the edge this time around. And as they take to that CT side of Inferno, we very well could be saying sayonara to Team Liquid.
It's a different 10-5 because it's Inferno. That's the thing. And it's also not Astralis on the back foot. That's another thing. Like, Liquid will have to have so much grit here and prove so much that they haven't shown anybody, themselves, other teams. But hey, maybe they talked about some stuff on T side. So we'll hold our breath. You know, again, some of the Liquid Pistols have been so impressive, again, because, as you mentioned, Grim, he's been such a consistent performer in rounds like these. And a little momentum can go a long way. But at this moment, it looks like Liquid are trying to punish some big flanks down mid, but Xyp9x is not in a position to go down instead of back. Magisk will spot one at the end of halls, and this is calling forward Glaive, who's moving now into position at the archway. He doesn't see any opponents at the moment. Seems like it might be on their mind. They might be trying to split on this.
Magisk gets aggressive. He wants to fight before they come in. Dupree from the graveyard stairs. Well, he's already got 1 kill and he has plenty of teammates, but he just adds a little cherry on top. Elige gets his head popped. 3 frags for Dupree. That is half of his frags this map in the second pistol because his talents were not needed when his teammates provided them on that T side.
Yeah, that's so true. Man, he has nothing. I didn't even know this was an angle that existed. Like, what happens when you push this far up against the wall, this curved wall, and he stays calm, patient, punishes mini pit, turns it into 3. That's just disgusting in a position where Liquid cannot afford to lose any more rounds. Liquid are here thinking about scoring a plant just for their money next round. Winning is probably out of the question. Good headshot to the top of Banana, but again, it's just part of the way that Astralis show. They're not going to take any risks here to allow them in, and man, they have earned a lot of money off of these MP9 kills. That's 3 for Device. What's the kill count? Someone's over 20, right? Yeah, we got Device at 24 and 9 in map 2, and honestly, he didn't score many eco kills in the first map and still was the most outstanding player, it feels like, for the team.
He had some pretty stellar rounds going on in Vertigo, but nothing was going to warn us that this level of performance was coming from Device.
He kind of just sneaks into angles, quietly gets kills, an op shot here or there. He's there when you didn't expect him. Last half, he was doing it with rifles, punishing people, reloading, jumping through smokes. Always right place, right time. A hot shot. But here's another hot shot. Twist, he's been kind of brimming. It feels like just waiting for a moment where he can be really explosive and has played well in this half. Astralis are trying to focus him down, but inside of the halls, that's his own domain. He might get 1 or 2 50-50 fights on some of these rounds. And he's certainly in a position where he has the confidence to win them. Glaive alone at the bottom of Banana. This is the weakness in the setup for Astralis, but Liquid don't know about him. Will they come back here is the question. They'll call in some reinforcements. A measly MP9 from Xyp9x.
Also has that smoke in case Glaive needs it. They wait too long. And a late rotate into the B site could really cost them. Check this out. Xyp9x, he's now leaving. Frag grenade around the corner. Device also on the MP9.
Oh, that's tricky.
They have all the information they need. Astralis on high alert that this exact hit is coming. There could be a diversion around to the B site if they all head through Arch. And that's going to test Xyp9x. He does cut down Stewie. And, well, Grim gets Glaive. That was the turning point. Because if Glaive's able to lock down Banana, then Team Liquid may never find their footing on this B site. But a nice pinch late. They had those players from Astralis grouped up on the A site in anticipation. And like Christmas morning for some, it's just disappointment.
Stocking full of coal.
I wish.
Frankie done Christmas shopping yet?
No.
Neither.
But thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
It's Christmas.
Honestly, it is a good. I mean,
it's already December.
It's been Christmas in Walmart since like October. So
Working with you guys, it's always Christmas.
Oh, you're a sweetheart.
Man, this is a round that Astralis only had a single rifle in. They upgrade to 1 AK that they picked up off of Stewie, but it's almost a round they don't care if they lose, if that makes sense. Like, doing some damage would have been good. So overall, very clean execution from Liquid and minimal losses. That's nice, but again, the bank account is just unfazed here for Astralis, so we'll get them in full force in this coming round.
Half the round count. Let's see how deep Liquid can dig. It's not the first time they've faced adversity here on European soil, nor versus 14 frags for Elige and Twist, 12 on Grim, 5 apiece for Stewie 2K and Nafly. Who else is going to step up to bat for Liquid? They're going to have to cool off some of the individuals of Astralis as they outbrain them. Those are 2 daunting tasks individually, let alone at the same time of having a 6-round lead versus you. A very bleak picture. Dare I say it, things look grim.
You may.
Stewie's going to walk up onto Arch. Dupree lays down the smoke. Similar situation, but Dupree in his position just leans back, relaxes, and shuts them down.
Oh my god. We have to get a replay on that. That was just incredible rifle work from Dupree. Like, even an individual level, that's just not what we're seeing from Liquid right now. He doesn't have any help. He'll turn it into 4 kills, a masterclass round from Dupree. And as you pointed out, doubled his kills on the pistol. Looked like he was pretty much out of it, but because, as you said, was not even needed in that first half. And now when he is, he does show up in spades. Look at this beautiful pre-fire on Stewie, absolutely predicting the peak, and then getting the flash from Magisk off the halls to go for the 3rd kill. They stood no chance.
Yeah, I mean, Stewie's position didn't keep Dupree pinned in enough so that when Elige walks through smoke, he doesn't have his vision back yet. You know, Elige is going through that smoke, relying on Stewie, and then both players go down.
83 years. We mentioned this earlier. The last time these two met was over a year ago. That was Forrest's last event on NIP.
The last time these teams played, nobody listening even knew what COVID was.
It's been a crazy time, yeah, and that's the reason that they haven't ever locked horns again. We're, I think, exactly 10 days off a year from the last time these two actually played. And hey, seems like not a lot's changed.
At least on that first map, it was close, as it was the last time we saw them. The second map could spell a different situation. We'll see. We shall see. They've got nowhere else to be, nothing else to do, and at least some of the tools to use. Glaive's going to be the first point of contact, eats that flashbang. Elige rounding the corner and getting into a more solid position. This immediately calls the members of Astralis over.
Oh, look how comfy they're getting. They've got the LT out, but okay, there's a kill back and forth.
Zipnik's off the new box. He's still just standing in the open. Nobody's able to punish him because Naf is incredibly blind. Oh, and Zipnik sprays into his head, takes down another. The rock in the back of the bomb site. 4 kills for him at Astralis with 14.
Rock solid and stone cold. Zipix recovers his stat line to come into positive off of those kills, as well. And Dupree, he did the exact same thing, suddenly looking sharp as ever. Has this extra man in the site with this skinny pillar to work with, an absolute force.
Listen, he's not on the top of the scoreboard of the second map, but I think Zipnik has been such a key piece of this series. Oh, and Naf, well, he's going to have some kind of an answer, but Liquid working with so little and already being toppled. They've lost a player at the top of Banana. That's Grim down for the count. AK now in the hands of Naf. Frag goes deep from Device. Stewie could technically peek wide into him. He's a little bit too tunnel visioned.
Watch him just hit this for no reason.
Device lays down the cover fire for himself. 2 more kills coming in for Astralis. They are looking to secure the 15th, and Magisk with the nade.
Dude.
Tough game for Stewie.
It seems like a bit of a mystery, but I mean, I would watch, the back when Mel's played against them on this map, and then watch Astralis, and watch the 2 ways that these pristine CT sides just take advantage of Liquid at every single turn. Now, there is a chance, of course, Stewie in the 1v2, but not set up for the next kill, of course. Guess who's there? It's Zipix once again. Last chance saloon here, round 22, and a storied rivalry could come to an end quickly here on Inferno with an absolute stomp, a masterclass by Astralis so far, and knock Liquid out of DreamHack Masters.
And leave them with little left to play. We saw them fall at the final hurdle last week. This would be a far worse performance. Not versus their opponents, let's be real. Astralis, they have their hands full. But they came to Europe to play Counter-Strike, play officials. IEM Global Challenge is what they've got left. That would be next on the docket for Team Liquid. Silver lining, maybe some time off could really let them get in the practice they need. We saw Elige in his opening interview here in Europe talking about how Team Liquid could return to the form of 2019 if they are given enough time to wipe off a bit of the rust that a prolonged stay in North America may have put on the cogs of this machine.
I genuinely believe it. Like,
as do I, yeah, for sure.
I think they totally can. They still have the tools. I really don't think that this isn't something they can't fix. But here's an answer back by Device. And again, in a round that might accumulate the whole series here, a Device looking for another follow-up trade. They don't seem to have plans to flash him, but they will out-duel him.
That's an opening as well. Glaive, that grenade could kill Elige. Stewie's going to take the brunt of the damage, and they jump right over. That audio cue for Glaive gets out a spray. Now Zipnix is going to get boosted. Naf's going to be on full display, except for the fact that Stewie takes to the top of those backside boxes and denies him. We've got a little life out of Liquid, a little kick after Astralis throw their punches.
Yeah, they're dripping a little bit now. Not looking icy, but the drip is there. Such a steep hill to climb. And yeah, I do think that they can come back to it. I don't think much has changed. I think just, and again, with this upgrade from Grim, I think it was like, oh, maybe this is only going to be a lateral move at first. They lose so much, but they gained a lot, man. It's just such a consistent player. I don't think there can't be any more people questioning Grim at this point. He is clearly so good. They know it. They have the experience to fall back on. I do think they have gotten more balanced and a little bit better over the last few days as they continue to stay here, boot camp, play more matches. I do think it's totally possible that they can again get good again, but they kind of were in a position where they just could not continuously practice in the same way that other teams over here in Europe could versus such staunch competition.
They're going to have to earn and grind their way back to the top if they can get back there. Stewie 2K going to take a little bit of damage here. Zipnix fades off. And well, Device, he is still looking for the 30 bomb. Put a shot through that wall and you could be one step closer. Get lucky with a collateral. They could be right on it. Now, he's not in a position to just fall into CT.
He's going to go right back
a little deeper. Yeah, clearly he wants some. Got two players rounding the corner here for Liquid. Bomb kind of sitting back at the base of T-Ramp, now thrown towards the tunnel. Dupree and Magisk, they're going to be tested here on short side. Flashbang dodge by Dupree. Twist gets the one and the second and the third. He hits 14 on the scoreboard, and we're going to watch Zipnix tested on this B site. Not even. Grim's going to walk away. Trial by fire for Grim. This is what it's like to play against the very, very best. And you know what? It's not even like he underperformed. Grim gave us some things to talk about on Vertigo, as he has his entire stint here in Europe. But Team Liquid have to go back to the drawing board. They need practice, and they need improvement, because Astralis just eliminated them from the loser's bracket of DreamHack Masters Winter.
And we'll be really, really sorry to say goodbye to Liquid, I have to say, gentlemen, because individually, those players look so on point. It's just that Astralis has got the answers. You know, they can go up against the wall of fire because they know how to prevent the attacks coming in.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of both sides of my mouth here, but I do think EG and Liquid, EG had a really rough showing right away in Europe, and I do think the same thing about them, but they have the tools and the knowledge to be able to get good enough to compete in Europe again, but they got eliminated so early over at Blast. And then for Furia, they stayed alive long enough to play enough matches to get good. So we saw them get good, even though they looked terrible at first too. And Liquid, I feel like EG would have improved faster than Liquid have at this point. But of course, now Liquid, when we look at them versus Astralis, it's a hard conversation to have. It's one of the toughest opponents they could have to face.
Well, we do need to have that conversation. So we'll be having it after this break, so do not go anywhere.
Seen the days in the dark too long, all the gray between the right and wrong. Takes a warrior to sing this song. When the glory and the pain is gone, it's the failures that make you strong. Can you see the path you're walking on? We're moving up in the world. We're moving up in the world. We're moving up in the world. We're moving up. This is a warrior's world. 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 Seen the days in the dark too long, all the gray between the right and wrong. Takes a warrior to sing this song. When the glory and the pain is gone, it's the failures that make you strong. And can you see the path you're walking on? We're moving up in the world. We're moving up in the world. We're moving up in the world. We're moving up. This is a warrior's world. This is a warrior's world. This is a warrior's world. This is a warrior's world.
With the right CPU, you can turn any game from familiar to phenomenal. Unleash the potential in all your gaming with Intel 10th Gen processors. With its optimal balance of threads, cores, and frequency to deliver elite real-world performance, only Intel can bring Marvel's Avengers to life with in-game PC optimizations. Supercharge your Marvel's Avengers experience with Intel Core i5, i7, and i9 processors.
If you want to know what you're good at, and, well, also what you suck at, check out csgohub.com. Coming!
Well, disappointing performance on Monday from Astralis against Godsend raised questions about the future of this lineup. Today, those questions were well and truly answered as Astralis sent their longtime rivals Liquid packing out of the DreamHack Masters Winter. And it was a classic Astralis performance. After a slow start on Vertigo, everything aligned together. We got those nades protocols. We got that fiery AK from Device as well as the AWP. We got to see both sides of Device. It was just a real refreshing watch, Launders.
I think for Astralis, it was exactly what they expected. I want to assume that Zipic's happy to be playing against Liquid again. I think it's a moment of comfort for them, which is such a storied history together where they know a lot about the two teams. And for Astralis, they improved more and they showed up and they did better than they did yesterday. Okay, that's one thing. But we go over to Liquid, there's so much more to talk about here. Liquid, coming into Europe, they come in with Grim, and I, in my heart of hearts, believe that they can, as Elige mentioned, get back to Grand Slam form with Grim. He clearly, in my opinion, is an upgrade on a lot of levels to Nitro, and doesn't fit in the same roles, and maybe they're missing a little bit of Nitro's calling, but we already knew for months before Nitro left that he wasn't doing much of the calling at all. It was between Stewie and Elige.
Well, hopefully we're going to get to talk to Coach Moses in a bit, but right now we're going to talk to Xyp9x.
Hello.
Oh, well, hello. It's been a long time since I got to speak to you. Congratulations, first of all. And second of all, I want to ask how that performance was for you personally, because it feels like you've been easing back into the server and now you've gone up against Liquid, and I'm just wondering if the fact it was Liquid that kind of helped you become your old self again.
I think we want to show the rivalry we had the last year, and I think we showed it great in this match. At least we played really well. We didn't play that good yesterday, so I actually feel like we improved a lot since yesterday, and we talked things through. So yeah, that's quite spectacular.
For you, just going back, spectacular for you, yeah, naturally, of course, why not? But for you, coming out of the break, can you talk us like everyone has an individual journey going through a break. You're taking some time off. What did you do during that time? How did you feel? Were you a little bit worried about just having to come back while everybody's been grinding the whole time, or did it not affect you at all?
I think in the start I was worried, like, I shouldn't take as long as a break because it would be hard for me to come back. But at some point I just realized, like, I played some CS and I feel like it wasn't, gone. Like the mechanics were still in me, so to say. So yeah, at some point I actually didn't think about like coming back soon. So yeah, I mean, now I feel like I'm back at my level. I started playing a lot more individually as well. So that has helped me a bit.
Well, it's nice to have you back, Xyp9x. You're an absolute pleasure to watch perform. And I wanted to ask, when you played Liquid today, did this feel like the same Liquid that you went head-to-head with last year, time and time again? Because you guys were the rivalry of 2019. And I'd just kind of like to get your general thoughts on this new addition to Liquid and whether it feels the same.
I think Twist tweeted that this was the first time we met them in 2020. So it's kind of weird that we haven't played them. So this can just be like kind of an off day for them, but this online era is really, I mean, people are losing left and right where they should be winning, so I don't take too much away from these games. For example, you saw Complexity lose pretty heavily to Gambit yesterday. Although Gambit is a great team, it's definitely an upset, right? So so I don't really feel like it's the same Liquid. I also don't think that we are the same Astralis yet.
I want to ask what your reaction was to that veto, because we'd only seen you play this version of Vertigo with the team once, and that was actually your debut back with the roster Xyp9x. How much have you guys been grinding that map up to this point? Because it really looked like you've done a lot of work since you rejoined.
Yeah, I mean, we practiced it a lot. We kind of expected it, but we didn't really prepare for it. So it kind of came as a surprise, actually. Although I would say that we kind of knew what they were doing, because we had seen them play against Mad Lions, I think it was. So yeah, I mean, it's it's something we've worked on, and I think we are quite comfortable on it, so teams can be picking it against us if they want to.
I don't think any team wants to go on the A site against you next time you play it. Thank you so much for talking to us, Xyp9x, and it's just fantastic to have you back. Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, there you go. It's so nice. It's like It's like seeing an old friend, isn't it? Are you ready to talk to Liquid? Because I feel like this is going to be a slightly more difficult interview because we're going to be talking to Moses. And I know that there are a few things you kind of want to pick his brains about in terms of positions and things.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get him on the line soon. Yeah, we've already mentioned that there we go. He's here. Moses, hey, thank you so
buddy,
much.
is this the toxic bald you were always talking about?
This is not the toxic bald. This is a man we very much miss in green rooms because he's the only one of us who ever actually made any sense. All right, let's talk Inferno first of all, Moses, because there was an adjustment you made in your match against Mouse where you moved Elige over to B towards the end of your CT side. I'm wondering why you didn't decide to make that a longer term change and affect, I guess, this performance, the decisions going into this match, because it clearly made a good impact last time around.
Yeah, I mean, it's a play we make. I mean, he's the rotator, so if there's some pressure over at the B bomb site and they're calling him over for some support, he's the next guy up. So wasn't anything permanent. I think one thing Astralis did really good against us today on both maps on their T side, did a really good job of keeping a lot of presence and pressure across the whole map, and not letting us, there were just some rounds where we didn't have the information of what the end game was, and they did a really good job disguising that from us on both maps, and maybe that's the cause of some of those missed rotations. I don't know, we'll find out when we review some of the demos and the VODs.
For sure, I do appreciate he is the rotator. It's just that there was a weakness in that B site hold and you're going up against Astralis.
Yeah, well, I think our Inferno's been a bit shaky lately. I think the guys did a great job yesterday of actually working on improving. We actually felt pretty decent on Inferno yesterday in some practice with some adjustments we make, and obviously that didn't bear as much fruit as we would have liked here today. Yeah, I mean, listen, we had a weakness at the B bomb site, we had a weakness at the A bomb site. Astralis, kind of outplayed us across the whole map on Inferno. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Go back to the drawing board kind of situation and see what we messed up on and see where we need to improve and see what we can actually work on to make sure that doesn't happen again or minimize the amount of times that's going to happen.
I was going to ask about to lead into that, the boot camp and the stuff that we don't know about. How is the boot camp going? And when you started out coming over to Europe, CT sides looked extraordinary. T sides were failing a lot. Now it feels like there's more balanced results. Where are you guys at in terms of what you're trying to work on the most?
I mean, we're taking it kind of map by map at the moment. I think yesterday was really, our first actual day of practice. So in terms of how the boot camp's going, I mean, so in that sense, the boot camp's going pretty shitty, if we're honest. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the kind of the only thing you can really do is look at the silver lining of it. And, on top of all the tournaments that there are and the potential to play in like 4 events down the end of the year, the other side of the coin is getting to play and practice against the European teams who are obviously a step ahead. And now we got plenty of time for that, baby.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, practice went good yesterday. I think we've been here, I don't know, this is like day 8 or something, or 8 maybe. We arrived on Tuesday of last week. And so, yeah, yesterday was the only day that we didn't have an official that we could just devote entirely to practice. Had to spend some time quarantined right at the start and away from each other until we got tested for COVID and everything. So, yeah, now we've got all of the time in the world up until the global challenge.
Just one more for me. I was just wondering, is it a fair storyline for us to talk about with NA teams coming over to Europe for some of the more upper crop competition like EG, Furia, and you guys, that over the year you guys had to fight back against building up bad habits, playing against lesser competition, or is that not much of an excuse?
Well, I mean, look, if I don't know how best to phrase this. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think there's a lot of obstacles put in our way playing in the North American region. I don't know if it's developing bad habits. I think more of it's probably lazy with habits, just because you can get away with things and you can recover from them much easier in North America. As a coach and as a member of a team, of a professional Counter-Strike team, I tend to look at them more as excuses. I think those are things that can be overcome. A lot of that comes with shifting mentality and changing the kind of way that we practice and play the game, which is not always an easy thing to do, especially when there's extended periods of time in a region that doesn't have a whole lot of strong practice partners, especially in a region that's getting less attention and less events, and see orgs dropping out of. So yeah, there's a lot of obstacles, but I mean those aren't the reasons we're losing. They certainly don't help anything. But I mean if we look at this and say, man, we're really losing because of the bad habits that we got in North America, then you're obviously focusing on the wrong things because you're not looking at the Counter-Strike itself. So in that sense, we have to make sure that we keep our eye on the prize, so to speak, and not get distracted by those kinds of excuses, and not let ourselves off the hook with those kinds of excuses. But I do think there is an element of truth and fairness if you want to bring it up as a storyline. Just giving you my seal of approval, Anders.
So we have some content. Good. Listen, Moses, you guys are in Europe now. You brought Grim with you. Last week, he gave us an interview and talked about how you're working pretty well with him and trying to find him his comfort zone, trying to slot him into the team. I just kind of want to know specifically your thoughts on Grim. How's he playing with the guys? How's everything going with this new addition to Liquid?
He's sick. Like he's spectacular. He's obviously another real unique talent, and kind of like a diamond in the rough over in North America. So I'm glad the guys at Liquid kind of pulled him in before I got there. So yeah, he's obviously a great player, and he obviously performed very well for us. I think this is maybe his second time in Europe. Obviously, it was funny. There was a round in Inferno at the B bomb site. Where Device just jiggle peeked him at second oranges and just took his face off, yeah. And from Grim's screen you could only see Device's elbow, and he just turned around and gave me a look, and I almost wanted to be yeah, welcome to the pros, but wasn't the time or the place for that. So no, the guys, he's a sponge right now, I'm not, it's mostly a testament to Elige and to Stewie, probably working with him the most on actual in-game mechanics. I'm there kind of to help and support, and I give him my thoughts and everything like that. But it's the other players, it's those experienced guys who give him a lot of the tricks that they've learned, a lot of the things that they've learned, and they're passing it on, and he's just kind of absorbing everything. And it's a shame. I feel a little bit bad that he steps in at a time when Liquid's having our team is having a rough time with all the online Counter-Strike in North America. Some tough results here, but he's got a good attitude and a good head on his shoulders. So I see only positives in his future as a player, and I can't see a reason why he wouldn't be a big part going forward.
Well, it's nice to hear your thoughts on the team, bro, but I think there's also a lot of people out there who would like a little update from you yourself. So I'm going to ask, how's the new role? How do you feel with Liquid, and how have you been?
And do you miss the desk?
You mean do you miss me?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, Moses.
No, I don't know. I don't miss it. I miss some of the people. Won't name names.
3 people, maybe.
Some of the people, not all of them. But no, I mean, listen, that's a fun lifestyle that you guys get to lead, and there's parts of it that I miss. I certainly miss having a little bit more stress-free days. Coaching. I don't think I've fully figured it out yet. I'm still kind of learning every step of the way, and also not just learning how to coach, but learning about ideas that you want to have and put in place in the future. It's also learning how the guys on the team itself, the players, kind of, it's funny. Sometimes I have an opinion of what's going on, and maybe I think it's one issue, and the guys think it's a separate one. So I mean, it takes a lot of conversation, takes a lot of learning how they kind of handle different situations both in and out of the game, and the kind of personalities that they have. So everything's kind of been a learning experience, and it's fun. It's just a hell of a lot of stress, man. Does
it make watching winning more fun?
The first thing I realize is that I hate losing more than I enjoy winning, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But I think on some level there's a lot of motivation to simply not lose, which maybe is I don't know, maybe that'll shift. But yeah, I really do enjoy winning. That win after the Mad Lions comeback was spectacular. The loss against Mouse Sports yesterday was rough. Loss against Astralis today was rough. I don't know. This team, I think part of what makes it so difficult is this team, despite all the struggles, we're losing 16-14, 16-13 to some of these top European teams. And when your losses are for small details, for losing out because we misplayed a 2-on-2, or maybe someone got a little bit too peaky, or maybe two players have to make a split-second decision together and they're both on a different page. Those are the those ones hurt because you're right there, and it's like 5-6 small mistakes throughout the entire game that may not have a biggest impact at the moment, but then when you look back, you're like, oh man, he didn't have a kit here. Oh man, he got that kill a little bit late. Oh man, he overpeaked this round, and those just add up, and those just become a whole ton of daggers that just make it even worse. So, I think coaching is fun. It's stressful. But I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to keep getting better at it. And with that, I'm hoping Team Liquid gets better with me.
Well, individually, Liquid looked on point today. So I think with the time you have for Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge, you're going to be absolutely on fire and one to watch. Thank you so much for talking to us, Moses, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Production are in my ear just going, okay, break it off, guys. We know you haven't seen him for a while, but we need to go to a break because when we come back, it's going to be G2 Furia and it's going to be electric.
DreamHack Masters Winter is brought to you by Intel, Corsair, Monster Energy, and MS.
Welcome back to DreamHack Masters Winter. We are gearing up and getting ready to go for G2 versus Furious. Strap yourselves in for that one because it's going to be fast and it's going to be furious. But before we get to that, my name is Frankie Ward and I'm joined by Scrawny and Launders. And I need you guys now to step up because we're ready for another sports buff. That was my Quizmaster voice. What did you think?
Okay, I couldn't tell, but I'll take your word for it.
Was it not different enough? Okay. Right. Well, you guys at home, please make sure you activate the Sports Buff quiz extension because I've got another question for you, which should hopefully appear on your screens very soon. The question is, pre-game 2. But now, that's not